Welcome to I love when it ends. Everyone just kind of comes together. Welcome everyone to season 2, episode 11 of the Nintendo Prime podcast. I am your host, as always, Nathaniel Rumpeljans. Right smack dab in the middle, about to step away from a moment, is Eric Moore. How's it going?
Good.
And now he's gone. Next is Mike Odyssey. How's it going, bud?
What is the? My mic is kind of loud, right?
Hey, you're fine.
No? I think it's just me. What's going on, guys? What's up? Happy to be here. What's up, HMK? What's up, Thomas? What's up, Andre? What's up, Nintendo Prime? And what's up, Eric?
Hello.
Nice. Obviously, we got HMK down there. Mr. Pink Hair, red hair.
No,
it's supposed to be red, pink. Looks pink.
It's supposed to be red, but the thing is, it's getting really long. So like, I haven't retouched it. So I'm gonna retouch it once I get it cut. But I'm chilling. I'm chilling like a villain on Penicillin. Yeah. How's everyone doing?
Pretty good. Right smack dab in the middle, down below, we got Thomas back on from Switch Stop. Been a long time, buddy. How's it going?
Yeah, it's been a hot second. Thank you for having me on. I'm doing well. Ready to crank this pod out.
Yep.
Yeah, let's do that. And then Andres Restart, who if you can't tell, was playing some new Mario Kart content that dropped today.
Yeah, but just downloaded. I was looking at the eShop because I was like, I was actually about to start Pikmin, and then I saw that the eShop was telling me that the DLC was already available. I was like, what? It's already available?
Yeah.
Well, it releases tomorrow. Yeah, welcome to Nintendo. The night before.
Always. And now
I'm not going to complain when they do that for Tears of the Kingdom. I'm cool.
I'm hoping. I'm waiting on that. Please.
All right. We're going to start our show like we start every episode by talking about what have we been playing lately. So let's just go. Let's get Eric out of the way. Mr. Badger's over there. What have we been playing lately, bud?
I didn't. Honestly.
All right, there you go.
Work has been
that's
crazy.
why I went to you first.
Yeah. No, I actually didn't.
You didn't play any video games.
No,
Got it.
sadly.
You suck. Moving on, Thomas.
Wow.
He's not wrong. So,
Thomas, what have you been playing lately?
Hate to kind of kill the vibe, but not much either. I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart. Just getting ready for Wave 4, and then
That's something.
One of my friends is getting back into PUBG, so he's making me download that. But besides that, not much. Yeah, I don't know. That's why nothing super exciting. Been a busy work past couple weeks, so haven't really had time.
That's all right. It happens. I've been there.
Life goes on.
All right. Is there any HMK? You can redeem us. I've seen you streaming on Twitch. Come on now. What have you been playing?
Oh, I've been playing a lot of Octopath Traveler 2. That game is so good. Oh, and I've been playing a little bit of like Romancevania, which is a really, really interesting game. I'm just saying, I'm willing to smash some pumpkins, and that's the end of that conversation. I've been playing Metroid Prime Remastered a lot. I've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the DLC, and then just a bunch of Persona, Kingdom Hearts, and Zelda here and there. But mostly, it's been Octopath Traveler 2. Which, if y'all haven't given it a shot, there's the demo, there's everything. Please play the game. It's amazing. Like, in my opinion, that's the first game of the year contender.
The stories don't connect.
No, they don't. It's like Final Fantasy, so it's like it's the same gameplay style, similar. They add some stuff, new world, new cast. Yeah.
Didn't they do a better job of connecting the 8 different stories?
Oh yeah. So one of the biggest complaints with the first one was that when you get the 8 travelers, their stories don't really intersect and they don't really interact as much as people would think because it's Octopath Traveler, right? They threw out the window completely with this one. This one they have specific missions where they go off in pairs depending on what the mission is, and then they talk, they interact, and whatnot. And they actually feel like a group in this one. So
nice.
It's really good.
That's cool.
Sweet.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been thinking about it.
Do it.
They got a demo.
Here's the thing. They got the demo, and the demo transfers into the game. So
that's good.
There's no reason
I love
to
that they do
try
demos
it
like that nowadays.
Yeah, I wish all demos worked that way.
The only thing that honestly holds me back is time.
I feel that this game requires a lot of it. So I feel
it's over 40 hours.
I would have done Harvestella, but time.
Yeah.
I should have played Elden Ring already. I have no.
Elden Ring's dangerous though. That don't Don't get me started.
It's a huge. The issue is time. I'm just. It's time.
Too
But
late,
that
dude.
one's like I kind of
late.
owe it to
got
myself
time
to
for
play
that.
that one.
Man,
regardless of the time.
that's one of the games in recent memory that I just didn't want to end. Where I'm like, my brothers are like, "Yo, beat the game already." I'm like, I don't wanna. I want to keep going. I wanted to keep going. Then I eventually beat it, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna New Game Plus it, and then the DLC's coming. That's a game. You guys want bang for your buck? That's a game.
I'll
Bro.
wait for the sale to come up.
The game's already on sale. It's at
Really?
it's on full price and it's on sale.
Really?
It's
know
on
what?
sale when it's in full price.
You know what?
That's
I'm waiting for the. I'm waiting for the Switch 2 version.
Ugh.
That's just too
Hey, you
Yeah.
never know. You never
with
know.
the, with
Maybe.
the champion's tunic costume.
Yeah.
That would be raw as fuck, honestly. It would.
Yeah.
All right, all right. I mean, you never know. It's a possibility. We've gotten a game from them before, so you just never know. Mike Odyssey, what have you been playing lately?
So I've I completed my goal, which was to beat Breath of the Wild and Master Mode before Tears of the Kingdom. So I did
Nice.
that. Actually enjoyed Master Mode so much better than the regular version. So much fun. After that, I literally finished on February, the last day of February, right? Next day I was in Mario mode, so I went ahead and jumped into my favorite game, Bowser's Fury, not the other
Nice.
one, Bowser's Fury. Collected all 120 little cat shines.
Cash shines, yeah.
Cat shines. But man, that I love Bowser's Fury so much. That's the biggest, baddest Bowser out there. And the thing is that half of the game is most of the game is it's a boss battle, right? But once you catch, I think it's 50 cat shines. Bowser never goes away once he comes out, so you have to find a cat shine for him to go away. So it's very crazy. After that, I jumped to Metroid to honor Andre's wishes. Give Metroid some love.
And you had some good words to say.
I did.
Actually,
I
on
did.
Monday.
I have to say. I'll repeat them I'll repeat them. I'm impressed with the visuals. I really do like the visuals of Metroid. I really do. It does look like one of those impossible ports. It feels like one. I know it's basically a rehash of the GameCube one, but they did a crazy job in the visuals, so it looks awesome. I played at 20 minutes at a segment. I pass a segment, I pause it or save it, and then we'll move away, then come back to it like that. So I'm playing like that, and I'm thinking of getting back into. I'm just trying to keep busy on Mario games until Tears of the Kingdom comes along. I'm thinking of getting back into Luigi's Mansion 3 because I didn't beat that game.
You've never beaten that game?
Oh, that's a good
I
game. The
played
ending
it.
of that game is great.
Did you play it with a
Oh.
friend?
Whenever I played it, I gave my first impressions on the channel, but then I never beat it.
You should-
I
You should
jumped-
play it with your wife or your kids or something. It's really good. It's like maybe
Yeah,
one of
it's
the best
super
co-op
good
games.
co-op.
Yeah.
It's such
Yeah,
a good co-op.
I'll
Yeah.
try to do that. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at. I'm just waiting. I'm in waiting mode for Tears of the Kingdom. I'm waiting mode. Looking at a bunch of videos. I think I've watched that trailer for like 100 times already. Not gonna talk about it. I'm just gonna watch it.
Hey, why can't we talk about it?
You can
Yeah, why
talk
can't
about
we
it, man.
talk
This is the
Oh,
podcast.
yeah, I'm gonna talk about it here. I'm not gonna talk about it on my channel.
Yeah, he's done talking Zelda on his channel.
Oh,
There's too many
The heat,
out there.
the heat is hard.
Sensitivity
The
is
Zelda fans are passionate.
Yeah,
A
the
little
sensitivity.
extreme sometimes.
Well,
Yeah, I
don't-
know.
I don't consider
Exactly,
those
exactly.
I don't consider those fans. I don't consider those fans.
That hence the
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know fans.
HMK knows. Anyone who's covered Zelda content knows
Oh.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It comes with the territory and it sucks.
Yeah. So,
there's different Pokemon fan base, Smash fan base. There's just people. It's not about the fan base. It's about the people. There's just
Yeah.
shitty people.
Yeah.
So
but I
Yeah.
think the reason why I've never encountered this because my channel's always been right smack in the middle, not leaning towards any particular game. So I've gotten crowds from all over the world, all over the fan base for every game because I cover news, like just generic Nintendo
Yeah.
news. So for the first time I actually leaned towards Zelda's just because the hype level is so crazy. Then when I lean to Zelda, that's when the crowd comes over, and then a few of them, Death.
I mean,
More than a
You-
few.
You might be trying to get that next gen crowd because I heard a certain Mike at the end of a video say hey, don't go anywhere. Subscribe for all of the next gen news right here.
Oh yeah, that for sure. That I'll always cover next gen stuff, patents, all that stuff. Yeah.
Kind of fitting for our topic we have today.
Geek, dude. I'm a geek. I like technology, so I gotta cover next gen stuff.
Yeah, people are bringing it up in the chat, so I feel it needs to be addressed. HMK, I get it. That's what he does.
Wait,
But
what?
Nate, why are you wearing sunglasses?
Oh,
Oh, no. So for those, so look, I've explained this on
Look.
other places, other live streams, so my regulars know why. For the people who only tune into the podcast every week, my office is very poorly lit. So where I work right now, to have my lights on, it means I have to have my studio lights on at all time, or there's no light in here. And where I'm sitting, the studio lights are blasting me in the face all day, so it strains the eyes. So by the end of the day, I got to do something or my eyes hurt. You guys go like, "What? You didn't do that on the other podcast?" I know. I dealt with the pain. I'm choosing to minimize the pain at this time of day. They won't be on the whole show, or maybe they will be. I don't know. We'll see.
This is
Or maybe I'm just lying and I'm actually got bloodshot eyes and I've been smoking dope all day. I don't know.
HMK, is it the same reason for you, or do you got another reason?
no, I'm just weird.
Yeah. I figured that's what it was. It was just
It's
like,
his passion,
what you
dude.
roll
That's
with.
his
That
style. That's his
is-
style. He
it's
looks good-
just-
he looks good
Look,
with his
I
style.
watched
It's
some
just
Dr.
me.
Disrespect today and I just had to go. I had to go with it.
I got
That
a light
makes
bulb.
sense though, because
I got
sometimes
the-
the
I
lights
got
do
the
bother
light
me. I
bulb.
never think to put on sunglasses.
So, I
Yeah,
got
these
the
are
light
these are
bulb.
pretty nice ones. So like the clarity is all fine and everything. So
Mhm.
I wouldn't use it for color grading, but that's fine. I'm not worried about that part. And,
Nice light bulb you
by
got there.
the way, guys, update
Right.
my new computer's arriving on Monday, so I won't have to sit in
Finally.
front of
Hey,
these.
there you go.
I
I
feel
won't
like
have
if
to
we
sit in
talked
front of
about
these
it
all day
coming
while I'm
for
working.
so
So
long, it's just been continually delayed.
Nate will finally know what it is to render a video in less than an hour.
okay, it doesn't take an hour. Well, on the laptop, it has. It's been taking a long time on the laptop, but not my old editing rig wasn't an hour. But
My videos actually render.
I will
really
finally
quick.
know what it's like to
just
not have a
uploading them takes
timeline.
a while.
I will know what it's like to actually hit play on a timeline and it doesn't skip and stutter.
Oh yeah.
That is something I'll finally know.
That's something
I've
that
never
I'm-
not known that.
Dude, with M1, M2, you're gonna go crazy, man.
Yeah, and I'm switching to Final Cut, so it's gonna be even better. So,
Hey, anyone who switches to Final Cut, you got respect from me. I love Final Cut. That's what I use.
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna take some adjustment. I heard the timeline works way different than the other programs, but I'll
yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah.
You should take a day to just like sit with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So, like, I'm hoping it arrives by midday Monday, and then what I'll do is I'll get a video out over here, and then I'll spend the rest of the day just like figuring things out and tutorialing and learning and practicing. But I don't know. I'd like to get working on it ASAP. I mean, bare minimum, I could just throw Premiere on it and just do what I always do. But I would like to get off Premiere ASAP because I don't want, like, right now it's yelling at me because I owe it money and I don't want to pay it because I already bought Final Cut. So
yeah.
I want Final Cut to work by the time they cut me off.
I hate when I've been working on Adobe and then I haven't saved in like 15 minutes and then it crashes.
That's
Nah,
bad.
no, I've learned. I use Adobe and I've learned the hard way multiple times. I have my pinky and my ring finger on Control S, like
Control S,
every-
Control S,
Control
Control S.
Control S, right there.
Oh, all I did was a transition. Control S. I'm not messing.
Has it ever crashed on you when you're about to
Listen,
save?
I'm
Like,
Yep.
okay, time to
I've had that.
save. Oh,
Adobe is
Nah.
known for its crashes.
Listen,
Man.
I'm used to. Listen, I've had a Final Cut close down, open it, just continue where I left off. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. You don't need to remind me. You know why? Because it constantly saves. There's a feature on it that is just
It's
always
beautiful.
saving all the time.
Yep.
So you never have to worry about it. It just does it. DaVinci Resolve has a feature like that too, but you have to turn it on.
DaVinci.
Anyways, because those are like the three. For those who don't know, those are the three main video editing programs that people use.
Whoa! Where's the Sony Vegas love?
Yeah, it's not
Oh,
Sony
God.
anymore. Vegas
wait.
was popular when
yeah,
it was
that's
owned by
right.
Sony.
Wow,
But after they
Did they
sold
sell
it,
it?
it went to crap. Yeah, they sold it and it went to crap after they sold it. So
Who
nobody
owns it
really
now?
uses
I forgot about that.
That's a good question.
Facebook. Facebook.
Wait,
Vegas.
Sony.
Yeah, I mean, you're
Video
probably
editor,
might as well throw Facebook out there.
owner.
Right.
Who
Probably
owns this?
50-50.
Let me see. Magic's software.
Magic.
Yeah, Magic software apparently.
Yeah. So it went to crap as soon as they bought it. They like rebooted the code and it just went to crap. It's garbage now.
Yeah.
I know because
That
when I
was.
came up in my early days, when I wasn't really like I was on YouTube, but I was still running Zelda Informer and other stuff. When I did make a video, I would use Sony Vegas because I got a free copy of it at one point, and it was fine. That's what I learned how to video edit on. And then as soon as it got bought out, oh my god! As someone who'd been using it for like 8 years, I'm like, this is just nope. I guess I'm gonna learn Premiere. And now I'm going to learn Final Cut. So you know what? It all comes full circle. I should have went Apple back then, and then I wouldn't have to worry about it. Okay.
They're all similar.
I made a
right?
mistake.
Shouldn't take too
I made a
long.
mistake. Okay. To be fair, I didn't know I was going to be a full-time YouTuber. So, you know, times change.
Yo, back in the day, I used to use Pinnacle. I used to use anything.
Pinnacle.
Yo,
Dude,
honestly, it's
the very
funny
first video I ever made on YouTube was made with Windows Movie Maker. So,
Oh my god,
no.
that.
I use this. I Camtasia. That's what the first YouTube.
Camtasia.
Oh man, nah. they won't understand the struggles, man. But I will say this: Pinnacle actually had some really cool like editing techniques that are not present within these like higher end editing programs. I'm like, why not? Like, why is this? Why did I go through loops in order to do what I could do with a button in Pinnacle? That's whatever.
Yeah. Every program has their little quirks. All right, Andres, restart. What you been playing lately, bud?
Well, I was playing Mario Kart before we went live for about 10 minutes. And
Wow, it's almost like it was a 10-minute countdown.
yeah, and beyond that, I honestly haven't had that much time to play games. I had to move. This is another temporary set, which will be temporary for less time, and then hopefully we'll have the final set place I'll be living at. So a little bit occupied. So it's same story, just Mario Kart. I was about to start Pikmin, and I will once I'm done playing the DLC for Mario Kart, and then I don't. Maybe I shouldn't tell you why I'm going to start playing Pikmin, but I'm going to start playing Pikmin. So
That works.
maybe some Pikmin coming soon.
Nice. So let's see. I mean, I'll just be happy. I beat Metroid Prime Remaster.
What? You said you weren't even going to beat it.
Yeah. I
Holy
beat
crap!
it. I beat it.
This is incredible.
Well, basically what happened is, look, he already knows how far I was in it anyway. So it's not like I had forever to go. So I just kind of laid in bed one night waiting for Yulia, and she didn't get home till like 2 a.m. And by the time she got home, I was done. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's a game I've already
if you know
beaten,
if you know
three
where you're
times
going,
before. Yeah.
if you know where you're going, you can
Yeah.
finish it pretty quick.
Yeah, there was a couple areas that I my memory slipped a little bit, but because I hadn't really deep dove in it in like 10 years, but it was fine. Like I knew mostly what I was doing the whole way. So
Yeah.
but
Understanding it is a little hard.
it's a
though.
good game. It's a good game. I mean, it is the game that made me create MetroidWiki.org in the first place. So I absolutely love Metroid Prime. Still really great to this day. So what's nice is how much like the gameplay just holds up. To this day. Like it's nice when a game ages, the gameplay ages like that. So you can go back and play some of those old games. Like you guys don't have to play this version. You can go back and play the old version. Still, like the gameplay itself just holds up. So
It's interesting how people are kind of like their complaints or observations that about the save stations. But what's interesting is that that's very much kind of like how Dark Souls is now today. Yeah, which it never even dawned on me that they were very similar until people started saying, "Oh yeah, it's kind of like Dark Souls."
Well, Metroid's always been like that. Like you can't save once you hit up the save station.
Yeah.
So I beat that, and then just been still working on my my master mode run, which now feels a little weird because Yulia is now playing Zelda. Oh, she started a brand new save file on her account because we just bought Breath of the Wild in the DLC all over again. And by the way, we made this decision after the sale ended, so that was a full 80, just right back to Nintendo for a however year old game. That's a 6-year-old game. So that was a thing. That was a decision that we should have made a week sooner. Anyways, it's whatever. Can't regret it because she literally is addicted to Breath of the Wild. She already beat it, and now she wants to do it all over again.
Oh, it's like it's a good game.
Like it's almost like it's a great game, and she's not even like she's not. You asked her, I'm not a gamer. Oh, well, let me check. So you played 72 hours of Breath of the Wild this week. At some point, you keep doing that, I'm going to call you a gamer. That's just
not a gamer though. Not a gamer.
Not a gamer though.
I don't like. I personally don't like the gamer label. Just to me.
Sure.
I get it.
Like I think games should just be kind of like you play games because it's just a normal thing to do. It's not, oh, this is who. I mean, if that's what you want to do, anyone can identify themselves however they choose. Just me personally, I look at games as a part of life. Like if I listen to music, I'm not like a music person. I like music. I watch a movie. I'm not a movie watcher. I just watch movies. I play games because I play games. Like that's,
Well, they have names for some things, like people that like to go to the movie theater all the time. They call them movie goers and stuff like that. So, like,
I'm one of those. I'm a movie buff. I
movie
I
buffs.
guess
Yeah, people who just watch movies in general a lot.
Yeah.
Sure.
Buffs,
Okay.
I feel there's like a difference between like people that enthusiastically go to the movies, but then like so someone will go to the movies like, dang, that movie is really cool. Awesome. And then there's someone like me who's a movie buff is like, yo, that movie is awesome. Did you see that one part where there was a reference to that, this, and that? Yo, did you know that they're gonna make another movie and then this person's gonna get paid this much? So
that's me too.
Yeah. So for like with the term gamer is just, yo, man, Zelda's great. Yo, you love Breath of the Wild. Yo, you should really try Ocarina of Time if you really like that game. Let me tell you all these reasons why. And then also, I feel like that term gamer has like easily become more of a term of endearment like these years, where back in the day, like, yo, if you got tagged as a gamer, then people were like, oh, what a nerd.
I think the
a lot of that changed with Fortnite too. Like since Fortnite hit mainstream, like it is completely different now. Like if you're seen as a gamer, it's like not.
You know why? If it makes money, I mean, it's a good thing. It's a good thing, you know?
Yeah. Like that's the kind of the thing. Like the term gamer still in some crowds has a little bit of a negative stigmatism. And I think that's what maybe makes it feel different than other things. Like you say, you're a movie buff. There's really never been anything negative said about being a movie buff. Like you're just someone who really likes movies. Nobody really cares. If they're not really into movies, cool, you're into movies. It's the fact that some people still kind of care if you play video games a lot.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird. Like you worry about your business, right? Like
I
don't judge what you do. What you do with your free time. Like I don't. But for some reason, and you know what? Part of it's probably been. This isn't a topic today, but like if you guys remember, like back in the '90s, early 2000s, and like every time there's some sort of violent thing that happens out in the world. Video games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Violent video games are the blame.
Yeah,
and like that still happens like to this day.
Yeah,
so, like,
ignorance bothers me. I'll tell you that.
They don't talk about violent movies. It's the violent games,
and they don't talk about violent books.
Let me clarify. Ignorance doesn't bother me. It's when you're ignorant and then you take advantage of your ignorance to hurt others. That's when it bothers me. Because if you don't know about something, that's fine. You're not supposed to know everything, right? But it's when you don't know something and then you act as if you do, that's a problem.
One thing I can say is that at least now there's more awareness of mental health than there was back then, where the people just blamed it all on video games. Now at least mental health is a thing. People are worrying about that. They're getting help. There's more advertisement out there for people to get help. If you need help, get help. You should, if you have a mental issue, you shouldn't be playing certain games because that's what it is. If you have a mental illness that that you can't differentiate reality from fiction, then you shouldn't be in certain places. But at least that's more something that's being more out there now. It's out there for people to get help when they need it. So
no, that's a great point.
Yeah.
But it makes me think of something. Let me ask you guys this. Have you ever played a game or watched a movie or been reading a book for so long, like you're doing it late into the night, falling asleep, and then you're like waking up and you're still kind of like, in that semi-dreamlike state. You're not sure, for a little bit, you're not sure how to differentiate between the game and reality.
Well, not the game in reality, but am I still playing a game? And I have those dreams all the time. I literally had one last night where I went to bed playing Breath of the Wild, and I swear,
your dream was Breath of the Wild.
No, my dream was Tears of the Kingdom. I'm like, it's out. I'm playing it. I wake up. I'm like, no way, no, that was too real. No, put me back. I get that all the time, and it's fun, and it sucks sometimes. But
I think the last time, like lately in my life, like I still play games. I finish games, but it's a little bit more spread out. Like I won't binge something for like 6 to 8 hours. I don't have time for that, right? Like I'll be lucky if I get in 2 hours for one spurt. Like that'll be like a good spurt.
Unless it's Metroid Prime.
No, honestly, they were 1 to 2 hour spurts, but I mean it only takes like 4 or 5 goes.
Yeah.
So,
well, When you beat it 5 times a week for multiple weeks in a row.
That is an exaggeration, by the way.
So how
More
big,
than once. More than once.
how big is Metroid Prime? So I know because I don't even know.
Well, if you know what you're doing, it's not very.
For an average,
Yeah,
I would say
it's like 8 hours if you know
yeah,
what
but
you're doing.
if it's like an average playthrough for an average person, I would say like 15 to 20 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
So I'm
It's not
probably
a super long game.
I'm probably about 20 minutes in then.
Oh, you got a mission.
You got a ways to go there.
Yeah.
Have you even gotten to the planet?
I got to the planet, yeah.
Okay.
Where
All
all the
right.
bugs come out of the
Well, I
ground
mean,
and
you could fart around for 20 minutes and still be on the space station. So.
everything. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
All
good.
right. Anyways, got a new little segment I sort of wanted to try out this week where I just kind of recap some of the things that happened in the last week and see if any of us have anything to say about it. This is mostly just like a quick little news recap of stuff that maybe I didn't cover on the channel already. Example, there was a new Bayonetta Origins trailer, and now there's an eShop demo for the game. So that
Nice.
just happened. The Dead Cells DLC for Return to Castlevania has dropped as well. That's out there now. You can play that for $10. Fire Emblem Engage Wave 3 DLC is now released since our last podcast. Also, there was a Front Mission 2 remake that was announced for Nintendo Switch coming out on June 12th for anyone who remembers that mech game back in the day. And if you couldn't tell, the Mario Kart 8 DLC dropped right before our podcast. So there you go. That seems to be most of the big headlines because anything else is probably going to be topics, including our first topic.
Oh, what a transition.
Our first topic. Unless do you have guys anything you want to say about
I
those
was
quick
gonna
news
say, I have
headlines?
no comment. I have no comment on anything.
Well, I mean, we talked about it before it went live, but
Yeah.
5 characters in Mario Kart. come.
Yeah, looks
5
like
more
it.
characters.
Yeah.
Watch them disappoint and add no more.
Listen, I made a video. I made a
No
It
video.
would,
way.
it would look so weird if they never
I
fill
made
up that row.
I made a video. You can look at up on my channel. I said Mario Kart 9 is never coming out.
Mario Kart's never coming. No, yeah, it's
I said
it's over.
I remember. You
I
remember
disagree,
when,
but-
before the wave, before the waves, the wave 1, whatever came out with it, before they announced that, the entire rumor or the rumor was talking about Mario Kart 9. Mario Kart 9, Mario Kart. No, Mario Kart 9 is not coming out. I said it's not coming out.
Well, actually,
You think it's not coming out on the Switch or not? Like,
No, it's not coming out on the Switch. I think.
okay.
Yeah,
Well, it's never coming out on the Switch.
Yeah, I think Mario Kart 9 is coming out. I have an idea of what's going to be.
It's not gonna be 9. It's gonna be like Mario Kart.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to be 9, but it's going to be like.
you can argue that Tour is already 9. You can
They're
argue
gonna-
that.
Tour is 9, and then Live is
10.
10, and then the next one's gonna be 11.
They're
Let's
gonna
not-
call it
no,
Mario
Booster
Kart
Course Pass is
Express
11.
Stream.
what they're going to
Booster
do.
Course Pass is 11. Then
What
the
they-
next, you're right, Mario Kart
Right.
12. That's what's
No.
coming.
Listen, what they're gonna do is they're gonna do the Smash Bros route. They're gonna go the Smash Bros route. They're gonna bring all the characters from outside, like Zora from Kingdom Hearts, and all these people, and they're gonna bring them in as racers and make.
Why are you
Mario
bringing up my
Kart
boy
Ultimate.
for? Why are you doing? What are you doing?
Hey, it's my boy too. I love that game.
Man,
think it's
no. You don't. You're one of those people who want to bring Kingdom Carts into existence. No,
Kingdom Hearts.
no. I'm done. No
Kingdom
Kingdom
Hearts.
Carts. Kingdom Carts.
You're literally hitting him
Kingdom
right in the
Hearts?
key heart. Don't be messing with him.
No Kingdom Hearts. I'm done.
Don't be
I'm
messing
done.
with him. That's half his channel over there. Don't be
Kingdom
screwing with him.
Hearts. That sounds bad.
All right, I have no idea what he's doing right now. I do
Oh,
like
wait,
the Darth Maul shirt though.
So-
All right.
It's not Darth Maul.
Oh, well, it looks like it from the top. There's
It's-
spiky red head.
It's Vision.
Oh, it's Vision. Okay.
Awesome.
Well, okay. I couldn't see the whole head. Give me a break.
It's an easy mistake.
You get that shirt from New
I
Rock?
see
Stars?
spikes
Yes.
in
Yep.
red.
Yep. New Rockstars.
I love it, man.
Oh, that might have been the sunglasses. Actually, I need to clean these. Sorry, it looked a lot more red. Anyway,
You good?
moving on. You know what? I make mistakes, guys. It's all right.
What?
You're human.
What? I
That's
make
not
mistakes.
possible.
All right,
That's crazy.
let's get into our first
If
topic.
you were a Metroid, you wouldn't be making mistakes.
Is backwards compatibility a problem for Nintendo Switch 2?
No, it's
no,
This is a topic that
no.
has come to its head because Modern Vintage Gamer decided he needed to repeat himself for
Again.
the upteenth time in the last 2 years. And it got a lot of attention because he is a developer who's worked on dev kits and made games for Switch and other platforms. So he is knowledgeable and doesn't know what he's talking about. And if you watch the whole video, he never actually says it's not going to happen. He just thinks it shouldn't be a foregone conclusion. And his reasoning is basically that it's difficult to make it happen, but not impossible. And he isn't sure that Nintendo is going to put in the work to make it happen. I vehemently disagree. Of course, I think a lot of people do. Nintendo has a huge history with backwards compatibility. People just look at recent history and go, well, Switch didn't. You're right, because they moved from discs to cartridges. But
They also
the Wii U
combined
did,
their gaming
the
divisions.
Wii did, the 3DS did, the DS did, the Game Boy Advance did it, the Game Boy Color. Like, this isn't new. Backwards compatibility has been a thing for a long time.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think?
Can I
Yeah,
start? Can I start?
Yeah, you can start, Mike. Go for it.
Okay. So yeah, I agree that I've seen about 20 to 25 MBG videos on backwards compatibility not being a thing. You know, like literally like a lot. I'm like, when I saw the last one, I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna look at it. But we've already gotten at least some type of official information that backwards compatibility will be a thing moving forward, especially if they're gonna continue with the Switch branding. You know, if like for example, Miyamoto was the one who said that right now how they are developing their games has never been easier to bring games back from the past moving forward, even going even further back. He said that not necessarily just Switch to Switch 2, but further back, the way that they're developing their games and whatever they're using, the software or whatever. So that itself, you know, is coming from the mouth of Nintendo's babe, you know, about backwards compatibility. So
Exact quote, it's easier than ever.
Easier than ever, exactly. So basically, I believe first thing, backwards compatibility has to be a thing for a smooth and easy transition, because right now Nintendo is worried about all these 100 million accounts and people with all these games that have, you know, their Nintendo. We already know that Nintendo Online is moving forward. You know, now in order for Nintendo to smoothly transition all these accounts and not alienate everybody from the Switch, they need backwards compatibility. Now, they don't need to have the games from the next gen be compatible with the current Nintendo Switch, but at least have all of the games that we currently own now be available on the next gen console. And I think that's the only way that they can smoothly transition into the future like they want. Right now, they have this president, you know, that is worried about a smooth transition, making sure that they maintain those accounts, that they give love to those accounts, that they don't want to do anything to harm these accounts. You know, it's I keep bringing up Tim Cook. That's my boss. You know, he does the same exact thing with iPhones. Smooth transition, iterations of the same device, improvement over improvement over improvement. I have never seen anybody complain that this has a feature that the prior phone doesn't have. They keep wanting the newer and newer because of the smooth transition time over time. If Nintendo takes the same exact route with the Switch and bring us a Switch 2, maybe Switch 3, Switch 4, Switch 5, Switch 6, then I think we'll be all right, you know. But backwards compatibility, I will shave my eyebrows if it's not.
I will say you went there with iPhone for a moment.
I'm gonna shave my eyebrows and I'll shave my head.
You went there for iPhone with a moment, and I got an iPhone right here. And you know what I hate Apple for? Where's my headphone port?
Oh.
Same, dude.
My wireless earbuds, I actually went through the wash machine, my AirPod, so they don't work. So the only headphones I have are wired, and I don't have a dongle. And I'm never buying a dongle to use headphones.
Well, you have AirPods Pro.
They went through the wash. They don't work anymore.
Dude, that's another.
You could just get the iPhone earphones.
iPhone earphones.
Like
the lightning.
You mean the lightning buds that they don't include anymore?
Oh, by the way, don't get lightning.
They include it for like a single generation.
Next year will be.
And how about this? How about here's another feature I'll say. How about they decide, oh look, we're going to do fast charging and we're going to switch to USB-C into Lightning, and that's the year we're only going to give you power bricks for one generation of that, because everyone has power bricks. No, most people at the time did not have USB-C power bricks when they got rid of those.
Yeah, I remember when Nintendo stopped packaging the chargers.
Apple has done that people were mad about. Just to be clear, Apple just said, "Too bad, so sad. We're just going to keep doing it."
Listen, all I'm gonna say is, Nate, you put out a spoiler when it comes to USB-C.
No, That's not you talking. No. Everyone knows about the European thing forcing USB-C. On
Yeah,
the
but the thing is that it's gonna be worldwide now. It's not just gonna be for.
No, actually, you're putting out the spoil. I didn't know it was going to be worldwide.
Well,
yeah, I'm not the one that works for Apple.
Uh-oh.
That's gonna be like,
dump button. Where's the dump button?
That
Where's
has
the dump
not.
button?
By the way,
Hey,
it literally
Flip it.
hasn't
Someone
been
flip
confirmed.
it.
It hasn't been confirmed.
I'm on leave. So I have no.
Can we
That'll
recap what
hold
you
up
said?
in the NDA.
My-
We're
law.
my
gonna
ADHD
rumor now is the
cut it out
source.
for me.
Oh.
What happened?
So what about USB-C Apple coming from?
No, I'm not sure. I don't know what you're talking about. Lightning is the best thing ever.
I'll just say the official news known is Europe is forcing Apple to get rid of the Lightning port and do a universal USB-C because their other devices use USB-C.
I would love if they lost some sort of Supreme Court case where they're not allowed to use Lightning. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, I know. And the thing
See,
with the
Lightning
USB-C
is-
things makes me
Lightning
want to get
right
the next
now
phone because I want to get
but
rid of
Lightning
all my Lightning
Isn't
cables.
that Lightning is already pretty old. It's been out around since the iPhone 4. So
Yeah, it's been out for a
pretty
while.
old. Right?
It's a pretty good port. It's just there's a reason they stopped using it on other devices. USB-C is better.
Yeah, I just
Alright.
want it to be universal.
Yep, and before Apple does some proprietary USB-C cables, so all their cables are slower. It's just, anyways, that's a rumor, by the way. I'm not trying to get Mike to confirm anything over there.
It's a rumor.
It's a rumor that is widely reported at Mac Rumors.
I
the Mac Rumor
confirm that there's a rumor out there. And that's it.
Hey, by the way, Mike,
I
on the
retconned my
note of
previous
rumors-
statement. I was reading MacRumor.com.
Mike, on the note of rumors, you keep talking about there being a Metroid movie. Is that just you trying to
I'm trying to manifest.
manifest it, or you there's no way they're going to make a Metroid movie.
I'm
There's just no
cryptic.
way.
I'm cryptic.
Oh my gosh. All right, Thomas, what do you got to say on this whole backwards compatibility nonsense?
I mean that it seems like a no-brainer on so many levels. So I don't really see a universe in which it doesn't happen. It's hard to speculate on because we don't know what's up next. I don't know if you guys are in the Switch Pro or the Switch 2 camp. I haven't been keeping up with the rumors because there have been rumors about a Switch Pro since like 2018. So I just was like, all right, it'll happen when it happens.
2017.
Now, honestly, you're not wrong. But my thought process is like, as you said, Nintendo's been pretty good with backwards compatibility in the past. The one thing was switching, from the Wii U to Switch, but that makes sense because cartridges, and they ended up porting over most of the Wii U games anyway. I don't think there's a universe in which they don't, like, even if they do something like how they need, say they want like a different size cartridge for Switch Pro or Switch 2 games. I think there's still either going to be like a separate slot like they did on the original DS with the Game Boy Advance slot, or how the Wii could take GameCube games even though the disc was smaller. I think there's no universe they don't, because if they are moving forward with the Switch branding, then the not including backwards compatibility would be one of the biggest fumbles. But I mean, it's Nintendo. Who knows at this point with that sort of thing?
Yeah, we really don't know because I mean we have a new president who's never launched brand new device like this. So
I think
this is what
I think it's tough. I don't know. I don't know even what to say. I think it's like almost guaranteed, but with Nintendo, like nothing's guaranteed, which is part of the problem with trying to follow a company and read into everything they do. So I couldn't really tell you. Yeah.
HMK, you got any thoughts
about the whole backwards compatibility thing?
Yeah.
Honestly, like there's like here's my take. It's gonna be like super reductive. Is that considering where the Switch stands right now and all the games being developed for it, and then like people are saying there's gonna be a drought like after Tears of the Kingdom, after Pikmin 4 out the door and whatnot, and Nintendo constantly going in with NSO, because I've seen the video by Modern Vintage Gamer, and the fact that like the digital entities such as NSO, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, N64, all that stuff, like it's Nintendo's not looking like they're gonna stop that anytime soon. Yeah. Right, they like in this point of the lifetime, they just introduced Advance and Color and whatnot. So that, along with the games they're continuing developing for the Switch, and the fact that the Switch is still selling, the fact that the Switch, is still having all these variations, even though we have the OG Switch kind of like being phased out in favor of the OLED and the Switch Lite. I don't think there's any justifiable reason for them to abandon backwards compatibility for the Switch games, especially considering that this technology that Nintendo's utilizing now is not something that's, you know, proprietary in their own right, because that's like a big complaint back in the day where like, oh, it's hard to develop for the Wii U. The Wii can only do this much, blah, blah, blah. You know, this is running off the NVIDIA technology with the Tegra chip, right? So in that sense, you know, I feel like it'll be easier for them to utilize concepts as backwards compatibility and, you know, making updates for games to run better, look better on whatever is coming after the Switch, albeit like whether it be successor or revision or anything like that. You know, there's just like, for me, there's all these flags just pointing to the ideas like, you know, there's no reason for them to abandon this, you know, concept they have going on with the Switch in terms of something radically different so that backwards compatibility wouldn't be possible. So that's what my take is on the whole thing. Yeah.
Yep.
I think modern vintage gamer, from a development standpoint, sees how there's a possibility it might not happen. And the reason he brought the topic up again is because every YouTuber on the planet has been saying it's happening. And he's just like, no.
To ground people, I get it.
I think that's what he's trying to do. I don't know that it's effective, but I mean, hey, you know what? His video did well. It's getting reported on everywhere, picked up by a bunch of big websites. So good for him, because he is someone who's reputable. I can't deny he's a game developer. I mean, straight up, he's a game developer. None of us have made games on Switch, as far as I'm aware. He has. So he does have the experience that we lack in that situation, but he also doesn't develop hardware, and he also doesn't develop the tools that end up leading to backwards compatibility. And some of the things he said in his video about how Switch can't, or the next system can't do this type of backwards compatibility or this type of backwards compatibility is questionable if that's actually true, because it would require direct knowledge of the next hardware, which he claims he doesn't have. Which, of course, if he did, I mean, he's under NDAs. He'd have to deny anyways. So,
right.
I don't know, Andres. I see you over there, like for the last 5 minutes. You're like, I got what's that on tip of your tongue?
I'm sorry. I literally for my video today. I literally have all my tabs open with different quotes.
Yeah.
So I'm just loaded. But you guys kind of covered the general stuff, so I don't have to really do all that. But I will say, I haven't seen his video. I do watch the Nate the Hate podcast, and he kind of talks about this almost every time.
Yeah,
I don't want to exaggerate, but it's been brought up several times.
That's a lot.
So he's just he put it together in video form and explained all of that. And I definitely understand where he's coming from, because it is a challenge, and I think it's worth discussing, because when Nintendo does overcome this challenge, because they will, it's worth celebrating. It's worth acknowledging, hey, this is backwards compatible. That's awesome. So because he's a developer, he understands the challenges behind the scenes. He understands how difficult it's going to be to make it happen. But Nintendo is going to make it happen. It is not impossible.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be wishy-washy, like because obviously Xbox Series came out and had full backwards compatibility. I mean, almost all the way back to the OG Xbox with a lot of games. Yeah. Which is insane. Like, no one else does that. But PlayStation, like when PlayStation 5 was coming out, there was a wishy-washy moment where there wasn't like guaranteed backwards compatibility with PlayStation 4. And that really worried people, because Sony was just kind of like dancing around the question every single time, as if they weren't really even sure if they were going to do it. Obviously, in the end, they ended up doing it, which is awesome. But I mean, I think when Nintendo announces the next system, that they might just straight up bring it up. You can play all your Switch games right here. Like they're just not even going to leave a doubt.
Yeah. Now I'll say that I assume that it's gonna be backwards compatible, but in truth, we don't know for a fact, right? So we should keep our expectations in check, because we don't know. We don't know exactly what they're gonna do. But as history suggests, as you guys pointed out, history says it's 100% happening, because every time they've had a successful system, they follow it up with a similar style of system that is backwards compatible. So for that reason alone, sure, probably happening. Also, they're partnered closely with NVIDIA, if they don't go with the route of just shoving in the Tegra X1, NVIDIA might come up with an integrated process that still allow the games to be backwards compatible, which would actually be the best case scenario. It's just, can they do that? We'll see. But I think another point that needs to be brought up here, yeah, Microsoft and Sony are doing it, but it matters more for Nintendo. Why? Because the Switch is probably their most successful system ever. It's not just hardware sales, which it is. It's in the conversation for maybe becoming the best-selling system of all time. It's currently third. It might get to 1. We'll see, but it's going to be close. But software sales are insane on Switch. It has one of the highest attach rates ever. Almost every Nintendo franchise has hit a record high on Switch. What that says is there's a lot of people who have Switch games. So what's the best? There's a lot of value there. More value than any other time they were backwards compatible. So if they weren't to be backwards compatible this time, that would be the biggest loss. This is the time to be backwards compatible than any other time, especially because Nintendo has talked about how they want to be really careful about their transition. The number one way to bastardize that transition is by not having backwards compatibility. Having backwards compatibility is going to make a big, big difference.
Somebody dying?
That's
boy.
That's my bad. My roommates or suite mates, apartment mates. I'm at my college dorm. It's almost March Madness. Big sports.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Sports.
I get it.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Either that or hit by
compatibility.
Blue Shell or something.
Oh man.
No, there you go.
Yeah, it's also possible.
Heavy competition going on.
There is something I want to
Yeah,
bring up
could be.
though, right? So I want to go back. I had it pulled up here. Yeah, okay. So the quote from Miyamoto, right? Mike, I think you brought it up earlier. Here he says, the development environment has increasingly become more standardized, and we now have an environment that allows players to enjoy older video games on newer consoles more easily than ever before. But there's this next part he says. However, Nintendo's strength is in creating new video game experiences. So when we release new hardware in the future, we would like to showcase unique video games that could not be created with pre-existing hardware. So I think it's going to be Switch 2 is going to be backwards compatible, but I'm not sure it's going to be the other way around. So you know how we've got a lot of cross-gen games for PlayStation and Xbox? What if Switch 2, the leaks are true, and we do get a Switch 2 this holiday, and it is with a 3D Mario, but what if that 3D Mario is not for Switch?
I can respond to that. If it's the Switch branding, it has to be cross-gen. Now, I can't respond for third-party games, third-party companies who want to develop for the more powerful console. That's a different thing. If they want to develop for that just the Switch Plus or Switch 2, they have that option. Now they have a more powerful console. But if it's a Switch branding, it would be kind of a mistake not to do not to release the game across. Maybe offer something for the more powerful console that you can't get on the weaker generations. But if it's a Switch branding, I could see dual releases for that game.
Yeah.
Unless it's
I would
completely different console, just completely different, then I would see. I'm Miyamoto said it right there. He said it. Yeah, I mean, it's easier to bring for backwards compatibility, but forward compatibility, nope. We want to develop games for that console that have features that work on that console only.
So what if it's literally called a Switch 2?
That'd be so weird.
Yeah, it would. Yeah,
knowing Nintendo's gonna be Switch Vita, something like that. It's gonna be some
a couple
weird
things I do want to
subtitle.
note, and I love Miyamoto, man. He's a legend. I've know nothing but love for the guy. He hasn't been involved with hardware development since the Wii U, and there's a reason he hasn't been involved with hardware development since the Wii U, because the developers at Nintendo didn't want the Wii U to be what it was, and it was very clear with how they made their games. It was his idea. This was in Iwata Asks. It was literally that whole console was Miyamoto's brainchild. And they didn't even check with their own development teams if they wanted that kind of system. And I'm not saying that's why it failed, but there wasn't a full commitment from everyone at Nintendo for that. Switch really felt like a culmination of brilliant idea. It was Iwata's concept, and everyone at Nintendo just seemed to be on board with it from top to bottom. And I don't think these drastic swings and changes Nintendo's done, specifically under the Iwata era, is actually something that top to bottom Nintendo all buys into. That could have literally just been an Iwata era thing, letting Miyamoto maybe have a little too much say in things. Because remember, we can't get a new F-Zero till we have a brand new idea that was never possible before, which that angers people because they're like, why? We haven't had an F-Zero in like 20 years. What are we talking about? Like, this is why do we
Fast
get
RMX took the idea of
like
specific
we keep getting new Zelda games, Mario games, Pikmin. All these other franchises don't always need crazy new ideas to have new games. So like, why are we picking on F-Zero that you got to be something different than what you are? Miyamoto isn't heavily involved in game development anymore. So I don't really know, in his twilight years here, it's unfortunate to say he's in his 70s. Hopefully, knock on wood, he's still around for another 30 years. That'd be great. Heck, maybe even outlives me. I don't know if that's considered great if he outlives me, but the point is that I don't really know that he's got more say than all of us, but I'm not so sure that Shinichiro Furukawa, the new leader, is going to be like, yeah, let's throw away our momentum for some crazy new ideas, or we can keep this going, because the fervor to buy Switch games hasn't gone anywhere. And I don't think he wants to let go of that fervor. And if you don't do cross-gen for a little bit in the way Sony and Xbox stuff do, you're literally just momentum gone. You're just done.
So thinking on it, right? And again, this is all under the assumption that Switch 2 comes out this holiday, which is not a foregone conclusion, right? We don't know for a fact.
It could be 2024.
Could be.
Man, I'm sorry. I just don't think anything is going to happen at the end of this year. Because
2024 is what was really the way people were leaning was holiday next year until that Pokemon leak. And now everyone's like, oh!
I don't think it's happening, boys.
I think there's also the fact that we don't know anything past July. That makes people kind of go, well, why don't we know?
There's also an argument that I brought over today in my video that is nothing to do with sales. Well, a little bit with sales, and us as customers. It has to do with shareholders, and Nintendo basically. I mean, they listen more to their shareholders than listen to us sometimes. You know what I mean? So
sometimes,
most of the time. But the thing is that
I don't even know if they listen to them. To be honest,
Nintendo needs to keep their shareholders happy and keep those stocks steady, so that they don't want that dip, people losing money, and then all of a sudden we have that dip that yet
Nintendo continuously has fallen off a cliff for 30
and that's what I'm saying right now, and that's why I'm saying that my argument for yes, there's a possibility that we'll see something this year is that stocks are going down. They're on a downtrend.
And Furukawa just said in the last financial meeting that while he would love for the next fiscal year to match the current, he knows it won't. And he's trying to sell people their second and third system, which is like, we've never heard somebody say that at the top of Nintendo. Like, it's like a recognition. We know we're at the end. Like, we know it.
Yeah, like everybody in their mother has a console already. So they're trying to double up or trying to triple up, you know? But right now, that's important. That's extremely important, that those stock prices are going down, and they don't want that. Trust me, they don't want
I also heard that recently, like PS5 is starting to double up on Switch sales.
Oh yeah, it's readily in stock now in most of the world.
Yeah.
So
I mean
that makes sense. The console's been out for so long. Like I feel like a lot of people.
It's in the third year. You're in the third year of PlayStation 5. Like, just think about that for a moment.
The seventh year of Switch. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, to that end, maybe Nintendo should have been ready to have a new system by now. Maybe they do. We'll see.
They might be ready.
Yeah.
Like, this could all work out because games are still selling really well. That's the big thing is the software momentum hasn't slowed down. And Nintendo's never been in a situation where the hardware sales are going down, but the software sales are steady. Okay, that means it's time for new hardware, and you just keep releasing bangers.
That serves the argument of being backwards compatible and maybe forwards compatible. So I'll give you this: if going back to the hypothetical, if it's coming out this year, which we don't know, but if it is, I think it does make sense to have the Mario game not be exclusive, like be cross-gen, just because they're probably not going to even be able to get out enough systems for it to matter. Like, so you might as well make the game available for everyone so you can sell more of those Mario copies.
And what you do leading into launch is you only market the one for the new system, but you just keep saying it's available for Switch.
Mhm.
Heck, you can even say it's the same cartridge. You buy the cartridge, don't matter which one you put it in.
And actually, another interesting point, going back to what Miyamoto said about how their development environment is different now, it's very scalable. Like you look at Switch, it's already very scalable because there's 2 different specs they have to develop for, right? Docked and undocked. So if there's a more powerful version with how the development environment now is, it's probably a little bit more feasible to make a very ambitious Mario game and still get it to run relatively well on Switch.
In fact, they've even added more layers to that because they like halfway through the Switch cycle added a new mode in docked where you can get a little bit more processing with a little less battery life.
And just a little bit more fire and smoke.
Yeah, it was just a little. It wasn't much, but some developers wanted like that extra. Hey, we want to get a couple extra frames, so Nintendo gave them an option. Hey, you can use this setting if you want.
It'd be funny if the Mario game comes with a RAM expansion pack.
We're going back
Taking way back.
days.
Yeah, you just gotta shove it into the 2
expansion
USB
pack.
slots on the side.
That's great.
That would be money. I think one interesting thing to point out about the whole backwards compatibility thing is, Mike, you said this, and I'll even take it a step further. I think not only would it be a mistake, it would be one of the biggest possible mistakes if they come out with a brand new Mario alongside this new system, and naturally they're not able to put enough systems out there, and they're just throwing away this huge install base they already have. And I think the main reason in my head, at least, why I'm rationalizing that they won't do that is because throughout Nintendo's entire history as a company, even before video games, the president of Nintendo was like a family thing. It was passed down through the family. And then Iwata came in, and he came in as a programmer, and then he got the job. And of course, then we had interim president. But Furukawa is the first president of Nintendo who was selected for that position because he's a businessman. So I like, if now is the time that when we finally have a like quote unquote traditional businessman president of Nintendo, they make a move and throw away this massive install base they already have with a game like Mario, or even any other game, like any game that they now are shoving onto this new console and making it exclusive to what will naturally be a way smaller install base. That's like the worst possible business decision. And I just don't, I think it would be hard for them to do that now.
I also think it's telling that like immediately after Furukawa was hired, his very first ever financial meeting, he unprompted brought up the cliff. He brought it up himself. It was like one of the very first things he told investors was like, hey, we have this tradition where we go up here and we're doing great and we peak and then we sit for a moment and then right off the cliff. And I don't want that to happen anymore at Nintendo. So my number one goal is to stop falling off the cliff. Well, the way
you
to
can't
do that,
fall off the cliff if you stay there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The way to do that, and I've talked about this for a while, is look at the console that consistently sells every generation. Look at PlayStation. What do? Bangers all the way to the end. Backwards compatibility, cross-gen for a little bit. You'll eventually stop the cross-gen. Sure, once the install base reaches a certain point. That doesn't mean you won't have any exclusives, but a majority will be cross-gen for the first year at least, if not 2.
They had one exclusive game at launch for PS5 or launch window.
Was that the
It was like
Remastered?
Demon Souls. Yeah,
The Demon Souls,
the Demon Souls remake.
There was another one though. It came out, I think, maybe not immediately. Was it Jack and Daxter?
Was it?
Oh no, Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank. Yeah, that's kind of like their Mario too. Like that's a platformer sort of.
Yeah.
And I wish Jack and Daxter was
It
their
doesn't have the
platformer
reach,
Mario.
though.
But yeah, and like all their other big games were cross-gen with PlayStation 4. I mean, even God of War Ragnarok. So
yeah, they're big. They're big ones. Yeah.
Is Spider-Man
so
gonna
like
be cross Spider-Man 2? Have they confirmed if that's cross-gen or not?
I don't think. No, I think it's only gonna be on PS5 because I know that Forspoken is only on PS5, and then 16 is only gonna be on. Final Fantasy 16 is only gonna be on PS5.
Only on PS5. Right. Yeah, I think now that they're in year 3, it's at year 3 we're gonna start hitting the big exclusives.
Yeah,
new hypothetical.
I think that's what Nintendo should do too. Like ease it in. Don't immediately.
Yeah, you keep that sales momentum.
It's the same
you
analogy
keep the money
with the
flow.
cliff.
Yeah,
you don't want to jump off the cliff
Yeah.
and throw away the.
Yeah, he's got a dip. I
gotta go. I gotta go. You're right. You already know what this is. Sorry.
I already know what it is. HMK. We're good.
But invite me again. You know where to find me. I'll see you guys hopefully next week afterwards. All right, but peace. Later,
Everyone
guys.
goes
Have a good one, man.
Heck yeah. Later.
Later, man.
So what I wanted to say,
yeah,
I also wanted to move on.
no, you're good.
Yeah. So, like, just thinking about it, like, there's a few different ways it can go about having like exclusives. Like, I think third-party exclusive is kind of like the safe way, and I think it would actually be really cool. Like, imagine again, I'm all under the hypothetical that Switch comes out this holiday, and I understand it may not happen. We'll see. But what if like it comes out this holiday and then Resident Evil 4 remake is available for that? They have a patch for Hogwarts Legacy, and it looks as good as the other systems. And then Elden Ring's announced as well. Like if they have things like that, like a lot of Switch fans will be like, "Ooh, I want that. I want to be able to play those other third parties."
Absolutely. That's the thing is I think a lot of the third parties would end up being exclusive to the next one. I absolutely think that would be a thing. So I've kind of always thought that when the new hardware comes, that most third party games would end up being exclusive to the new hardware. But what's important, and this happens with Sony as well. Sony doesn't control if third parties make their games backwards compatible with PS4, but it's that they make sure that their games that they publish, most of them are, for a couple of years. And by the way, I'm not even saying Nintendo needs to do a couple of years. If they can keep stock going and the sales are soaring, they hit year 2 and they've already got 25 million of this new system installed. Maybe then they want to flip the Switch. Okay, fine. But at least have that cross-gen for a significant period until people feel like they're ready to move on, because there's always going to be that back end of the people that bought a Switch that, we're not ready yet. So maybe the people in 2017, 2018, those are probably your early adopters.
Yeah.
Then you'll have people that are just kind of like, hey, we want to wait. Oh, I'm not going to buy it until like I feel like I really need it. And that's totally fine. That's exactly how PlayStation does it. And that's, I think, for Akawa, they hired him for a reason. They handpicked him to be the successor because they wanted someone who understood business, not necessarily a creative that is more focused on doing wild, crazy, inventive things. Because remember, Switch was already successful when they hired him. Yeah. They didn't hire someone to come in and create. They hired someone to keep them where they currently are. So,
when I can add one more thing that can also help the transition, would be on how the leak from the Pokemon Presents mentioned at the end. They mentioned the new systems.
Yeah, with the patch.
Right. Yeah. I like that they say systems, right? Not system, because maybe Nintendo is planning on bringing up the entire lineup just up a notch, right? The Switch Lite, bring it up a notch. The base model, bring it up a notch, and also bring a pro model up a notch. That way, if you have price points where people can jump in, and whoever can jump in at the Switch Lite version, they can actually jump in next gen Switch Lite, next gen Switch base, and then next gen Switch.
For all you people that have been waiting for a price drop on the Switch, well, then you better hope the new system comes.
There it
it's probably
is,
the only thing that's going to make them drop the price.
I mean, like, I have a hard time believing that they won't have a price drop by the end of this year, though. Yeah. Like, either way, because the thing
I think they'll just make less Switches.
Well, my point is, okay, I hear what you're saying. I just feel that, if they don't have a new Switch this year, they need to do something to maintain sales momentum. They can't just
N64 Classic comes out.
That would be going back to Wii U levels of like desperation.
But it would sell a lot.
How much? Because they already have N64 on Nintendo Switch Online, which almost everyone has.
And people want it for the nostalgia, buddy. It's the nostalgia. The fact that it's a mini Nintendo, it's an actual N64 looking system for $100. They just want it. They just want it for the nostalgia. This guy. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, this guy. Yeah, he's the exact consumer that would go for it.
Listen. I get what you're saying.
You can include games that aren't on NSO yet.
But let's be real here. It'll still be reduced sales because of the N64 available on NSO. Maybe not by as much of a margin as it may sound, but it will be reduced. And it's not like those sales for the SNES Classic and the NES Classic were very high to begin with.
Yes, they were. They were so high they had to bring them back.
That does not it does not make up for the difference of not having strong Switch sales on the holiday.
Yeah, I don't agree. I don't think though that the N64 Classic is coming because it doesn't make sense since now they have NSO plus that control they're selling. So it's like,
I think you guys severely underestimate collectors.
The classics were
Do you have
brought
sales
in.
numbers on them?
Yeah, the classics were brought in because the Wii U sales were bad, so they had to bring something.
Well, they brought it in because they literally stopped making the Wii U. They had
yeah,
nothing to sell.
they had to kind of fill in the
And
gap.
yet the Switch was blowing up, and they still released the SNES Classic anyways.
Yeah, but yeah, so I don't. Think,
granted, there was rumors on the N64 Classic a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying they're releasing an N64 Classic. They might. I was just saying that Nintendo has ways to supplement. Like Nintendo has been spreading their wings to other things. Like as an example, we're all talking like, oh, they got to make up. There's got to be some sort of money coming in. They might have a bill coming in from the Mario movie that was never on their books before. Like just to let you guys know, they might have a cool bill. Now they got multiple theme parks opened up. They're going to start entering their coffers as well. Like they've actually at this point created a lot of diversification in the revenue. They don't necessarily need to worry about having big holidays. That being said, I think if the Switch is in the decline that Furukawa basically admitted that it's in, I don't think he's just going to hit the holidays and go, we're going to price drop and that's what's going to save us. Because if you're trying to sell your second, third, fourth Switches, he's basically saying everyone who wants a Switch has a Switch. So
yeah. I agree that it's not going to just be a price drop. I'm simply stating that if a Switch 2 is not ready for this holiday, then I have to imagine that they're going to have a plan for the second half that is going to be substantial. Because even if they have diversified, which they absolutely have, the idea isn't to rest on your laurels. No, the idea of diversifying is to expand your capacity, your potential. So
you drop the new Switch.
Yeah, maybe drop the new Switch.
I mean, that's the aggressive mood. That's the aggressive mood.
That's what I actually, honestly, I think that's what makes the most sense. It really just comes down to if they're ready. Yeah. If they're not ready, then they're not ready.
Well, I think they obviously want to kill their lineup that first year, just like they had for the OG Switch. I know that. Yeah, but then again, all those reports that they've been sitting on stuff, and now we're getting games that were done in 2021, which is like, okay, so if we're getting games this year done in 2021, then what about the games that were done last year?
Yeah.
When are those coming?
I also want to point out something. You know how we talked about how we expected a few spinoffs from the Pokemon Presents?
Yeah.
We didn't get in.
Pokemon Sleep. Although it's probably.
I mean, that's a mobile. That's not even a game. That's like a.
Yeah. They told me it was a game. They
don't need to do price drops. They don't need to do the price drops because if they're releasing the Switch 2, all they have to do is just drop the base model, keep the Switch.
Sure.
Switch
I think what they're going to do is.
I'm saying a price drop if there isn't.
Yeah, if the new system comes, obviously they're booting the OG model out, dropping the OLED $50.
Yeah, OLED should go down to $300.
Yeah, they might keep the Switch Lite where it's at for a little bit. Although surprise, Switch Lite price hasn't gone down because it hasn't really ever been a big seller for them, except for a brief moment when everything else was sold out, so people felt like they were forced to buy Lite.
If it went down to $149,
in my corner of the woods, the Switch Lite is still a good seller because everybody and their mother are around here. Kids have some. I just.
It's a kid system. That's what it's really for. Yeah.
So it's a necessity because like I was talking to Andre on his podcast. My niece, they got her Switch, the base model. She threw away the Joy-Cons. She broke them. She lost them. You know what I mean? she's only 7. You know,
it happens.
And so we got her a Switch Lite to Christmas and a half ago. She still has it like nice in her case and everything. Sure. It's because it's just convenient. It's one piece for them.
It's more durable too. It's more durable. Yeah.
So yeah, Switch Lite is a must, and hopefully they come out with the Switch Lite 2 with an OLED screen, maybe something better.
So speaking of platforms dying, the Wii U. A couple things happened over the last week. Nintendo took out Mario Kart 8 and Splatoon due to a bug on Wii U that enabled some pretty nasty stuff that Nintendo wasn't happy with. So they just decided we're removing it off the eShop and disabling the online. So as of right now, even though they're closing down the eShop soon anyway, so maybe that's not as big of a news, but they never said they were shutting down the online servers, and now they're for Splatoon and for Mario Kart 8 that's shut down. But that's not even the biggest story, because somehow we got a double dose of Wii U news in 2023. If you have not turned on your Wii U since you bought a Switch, chances are the next time that you do, it will be bricked. Wii U's that have not been powered on, Wii U's that have supposedly not been powered on for a long time, have a high chance of being bricked when you turn them on. It has something to do with the memory module not having power for a long time. And what's interesting, and this is something that I've seen brought up, but obviously we're not going to know for a long time. Nintendo, for the Nintendo Switch, actually has a warning in the manual that you need to make sure that you charge your Switch at least once every 6 months, possibly suggesting that if you just leave your Switch dead for years, this could happen to Switch too.
Yeah. Corrosion.
So, thoughts as the Wii U refuses to die in a metaphorical way.
It's a good news to me.
Literal way, it is dying.
It's good news for all the Switch users now, knowing that 6 to 7 years from now, that's when Nintendo's going to stop servicing the Nintendo Switch, And so, I mean, that's good news, I mean, it's good while it lasted long enough. We're in the 7th year. Wii U is still a thing, and it's not going to be a thing anymore. So 7 years from now, we're going to be saying the same thing about the Switch.
I think it also to point out one of the issues with this situation, because by the way, hard drives die like on the 360 and the PlayStation 3 and stuff like that as well. Like hard drives dying usually doesn't brick your system though, because those are replaceable. Mm-hmm. We can't replace them in the Wii U and the Switch because they're hard encoded to the specific board. It is a decision Nintendo made, which is very Apple-like. You just can't replace the memory modules. So you can't bring it back to life. So that kind of means, unless there's somebody out there regularly playing their Wii U all the time, there could be a day that all 13.5 million Wii U's are just dead.
How about those people who bought them for collectibles that just have them in the box for like years and years and years and years?
Well, I mean, that's what they're
they don't really care.
Yeah, they don't really care then because they're never going to take it out.
Yeah.
But some people were like, I bought one to collect when they went out of production. I'm going to go plug it in. Oh, it's bricked. Yeah, you didn't even get to play it. Sorry, man. Like, just,
I wonder if
it's mind blowing.
I suppose it does probably come with a small charge to begin with. Because if they never opened it, never plugged it in,
every device comes with a small charge.
I was gonna say if they never opened it, never plugged it in,
it's still good without a charge. It's still good without a charge for a little bit. That's why I say with the Switch, you need to charge it at least once every 6 months.
Yeah.
What's interesting is I remember people were excited when we first got Switch because we took it apart and the memory module was separate. So we're like, oh, we'll be able to user upgrade or replace this later. No. So why is it separate? I don't know. They just didn't have room on the board, so they just moved it. That's the only thing I can think of because they were trying to make it so compact. But I don't understand. I understand why they make these decisions, but then as a consumer, I'm like, yeah, but this is what happens when we're long past the generation. What's the harm? Like, just let people use or upgrade their hard drives. Who cares? They don't, or like at least replace with OEM parts. Like, who cares? Like, I don't know why they have to hard lock it. To like, you could just why can't you just have a general lock that every single one made for Wii U can work with any Wii U instead of it having to be hard locked to that specific motherboard in that specific Wii U? And same with the Switch. That's maybe the biggest story that comes out of this is like a nice reminder that this could be a problem on Switch and we just don't know yet because the Switch isn't dead. It's not a dead platform yet. So
that's insane.
It's weird. I don't. And again, why hasn't this ever been a story with the other platforms? Yeah, their hard drives die. You can just buy new ones. Can't do that here. PlayStation 5 hard drive dies. You can plug in an M.2 literally, and you can run your OS off it. People have already been doing it because some people are putting in better M.2s than the PS5 has, so they want faster load speeds. So it's crazy, man. What? Let me see. Thomas, what do you think about this? Were you big on the Wii U back in the day? Do you have any feelings here?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. I was a huge Wii U fan. I don't think the console was particularly great. Just having had a fun time. I had a fun time with the games. The issue with this is I think you get to a point where when you keep having these console degradation problems where they end up completely becoming unusable and becoming bricked after this, that just leans even more into, okay, well, Nintendo, if you're not gonna be user, friendly and allow, people to swap out parts so their consoles don't die, you're also not gonna fix the problem and just, make sure that this isn't, is never an issue in the first place. Then how come they're still so they always will be, but they're still so anti-emulation, not even piracy, but being able to emulate these games. Because there's a point that you mentioned now where, like, potentially not in the far distant future, no Wii U's will be able to, be turned on. And the fact that we have, great Wii U emulators that can run now on decently powerful yet, still respectable PCs, like, that's the only way we will be able to play many games that haven't been ported over. We're lucky a lot of Wii U games were ported over, but
I
still.
will note there will always probably be some Wii U's that survive because if you are a big homebrew user, I know that the homebrew community is working on a way to enable something to end up replacing memory modules. But again, that's homebrew. That's not going to be the OG firmware. That's the problem.
That's, again,
you're
something
not getting the OG
Nintendo hates and
firmware.
is actively trying to patch out. Like, there's Nintendo has kind of positioned themselves between a rock and a hard place here, which, again, this does not impact them at all. They've made their money from the Wii U. To them, I'm assuming they could not care less that now it's starting to die. But they're actively fighting against all efforts, maybe intentionally or like indirectly. They're actively fighting against all efforts to potentially stop these problems. But they're clearly not fixing it. You can't swap out the memory on the Switch. I will be shocked if you can on the Switch 2, Switch Pro, whatever they end up doing. So it's one of those questions.
Sorry, there was like three people in the chat.
Lights.
Nintendo Prime high as F with the shades on. No, more like preventing my eyes from dying from my studio lights.
Yeah. They are bright. They are very bright.
Anyways, yeah, I don't know. It's just a situation that I don't think needs to exist. And this kind of, ironically, this sort of dips into the whole right to repair stuff that happens out there too, with all those repair shops trying to push for like, hey, can we stop locking things down like this? This is what happens. Yeah. People lose access to things they own because you won't let us fix it. And you won't even let the user fix it. Like, and you're not going to fix it. Nintendo doesn't service Wii U's anymore. There's no way to get these things fixed outside of you fixing it yourself. So it's a what I don't really get is like if they could, it's probably baked into the hardware, but it would be if it's a software lock that causes it. It would be nice if like at one point they would just release a firmware update that says, "Hey, we're going to unlock this now. You can go ahead and use a repair. We're not going to service it anymore. You can service it yourself now because we don't care anymore." But that just doesn't happen with Nintendo. It doesn't. The other companies don't really do it either. But also their hard drives can be replaced.
Yeah, it's like they can't have both things in my. Well, they can and they have and they will continue. But it's from a
will be interesting with Xbox.
It's brutal.
If anyone ever stops making those proprietary, the Series X expansion cards, if anyone stops making those proprietary things, will be interesting to see what happens then with that system. But yes, Andres over there is smirking. I feel like he's got a gotcha moment coming. What's up? Or the chat's embarrassing.
You're not gonna like it.
It's okay.
I love what 10,000 Noodles said. Nate the Bake.
Nate
the Bake.
All right.
That's funny.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny about that too? When people make jokes about this, it's like legal in half of America. So like it wouldn't even like. Do you watch content creators? Plenty of them that are baked out of their mind doing live streams and stuff. Yeah. It's actually becoming quite normal. My state though, no.
It's just funny because of the sunglasses.
I know.
I will give you my 2 cents on this Wii U situation. I question.
Fine, I'm done with the sunglasses now. I'm done. Tired of the baked jokes.
Man, I think you should keep it on. Just for reason. All right.
I'm good. Enjoy me looking tanner than I really am.
Your eyes are gonna get red anyway from the light, so they're
no, they won't. If they get red, it's because I don't take my contacts out.
The day is almost over. You'll make.
We have new contact solution. We were out of it for like 3 days, so I'm gonna take them out.
Hey, there you go.
Anyway, what I was gonna say, I personally question just how many Wii U's are getting bricked from inactivity because my Wii U still works and I've gone years without using it sometimes. I've had to clean off dust and grime, and I'll say for a little bit, I'm kind of questioning if it's going to turn on again. But, after I plug in it a couple times, it still works. I recently played through both Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD on it. So I put in like an easy 100 hours between both games.
Yeah.
And
I will say
played
every
fine.
report I've seen of people saying it, all of them said it hasn't been on for at least 5 years.
Okay, well, yeah,
So it's
5
like-
years.
it's
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
5 years
basically
is a
saying
long
we
time.
bought Switch and we stopped playing Wii U.
What a shame, Ryan. What a shame. What a shame that everything gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaply made. I have my NES there, my original NES back there. Okay, day one, it's the original NES. I have the original box up there too, and still turning on. I can put a
Yeah, I'll also say about the original systems, people bring that up a lot in these situations. None of them had internal memory, so this wasn't even a problem. The only issues they get are like capacitors that go bad, and capacitors you can just buy and replace.
Yeah.
So
Pokemon
that's one benefit to those systems.
Yeah, the Game Boy games don't hold saves after like 10 years, but you can just it's
Replace
pretty
the
easy.
batteries.
It's pretty easy to replace a battery. Yeah,
I will give credit for Nintendo with the cartridges over the years that hold saves. They use standard batteries that you could just go to the store and buy. So credit to Nintendo for not using some proprietary.
Those little batteries, the little square flat ones.
Yeah, they're like little watch batteries. You can buy them at battery stores.
Also, I don't know if the Switch uses them, but Nintendo used to use like the tri-wing screws, so you have to get a tri-wing screwdriver.
Yeah.
It's not a normal screwdriver, but you can, if you go to Lowe's, you can get one, or you can just order online for like $2.
They're not
Yeah,
like
the
an
Torx.
impossible to get screwdriver.
Yeah.
And I have an iFixit kit, so I don't know until they come up with a bit that they're going to come up with a bit that nobody has at some point. And I'm going to be mad.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Eric, any thoughts on the Wii U? I know you didn't own one.
No,
but
I didn't. But I mean,
we definitely played the hell out of mine.
No, for sure.
That was my life for a little bit there, back at the old apartment days, living in the boonies, and
you were a whole hell of a lot closer to my house. Not that you're all that much farther
away.
away.
I was also a hell of a lot closer to every drug imaginable.
Yeah, no,
well.
that you were. Talking about baking. No.
Yeah, what's about baking back then? Everyone around me definitely.
Oh,
was
for sure.
A little bit more than that.
No, for sure. I don't know this.
Not exactly a good part of town. Anyways.
No. This just raises even more the need for backwards compatibility too. I mean, it's if you're gonna stand to lose your old systems, they always say you can go back and play your old games. Well,
That's a great point. Because I can imagine my Switch not. I have a hard time believing my Switch will last another 7 years.
Yeah.
So
the controllers won't for me. I can tell you that. Yeah. If I keep playing it, the controllers ain't gonna make it another 7 years.
Although I will say
those are repairable.
I didn't think my Switch would make it this long. It's had a hole in it for the longest. Sometimes
you haven't replaced that one.
Wait, how?
You haven't replaced your.
I have a day. My Switch is a day one Switch.
I know it is. I thought by now you would have replaced the holy one.
How do you
I just put a decal over it.
Nice.
I'm hoping it's on the back,
they sell
right?
shells, right? Like, you can put a new shell on it.
When I play in handheld mode, it makes a really loud buzzing noise, and it won't stop until I close out the game, turn it off, come back. Yeah, I'm not talking about it's working hard, like playing an open world game loud. I'm talking about it sounds like it's gonna explode loud. But it's just the fan working extra hard.
You're a trooper.
Justin there or something.
Are you really hoping for a Zelda edition to replace it with?
I don't know, man. A Switch 2 is coming out this November.
He's like,
that's what I'm holding out for. The OLED wasn't enough for me to upgrade.
But then they make it just super sick looking, and he's like,
Well, the thing is, I don't know. Well, money's definitely in the conversation. We'll see.
Of course. We'll
money's
always in the conversation with those decisions.
Come May. And also, we have that OLED leak, but that might just be a prototype, right? It may not even get announced, or if it is, it may look different. I'm not sure.
No, who knows?
So we'll see.
It is interesting that a lot of the symbols on it lined up. That was the thing that really caught me off guard, because I was pretty much
100% real.
I was on Team Fake. After your video that you did on, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm kind of on Team Fake for and all of a sudden, the collector's edition comes out, and you're like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
Whoa, okay. This is clearly something that
symbols
this was clearly real.
It's 100% real. It's just a question of is it a prototype? Is it something that's going to actually come to market? Or is it just something they were working on behind the scenes that we'll never actually see the light of day? That's what we don't know.
Yeah,
it's real. April.
Yeah, I think it's going to get announced early April, and then it'll release probably end of April. No, they've been doing the OLEDs a week or two early.
Gotcha.
Before the game comes out. That's been
I think that's probably what's going to happen. I just hope it looks a little bit different than the leak.
No, it's the same one. backpack one.
Yeah,
100%.
it'll probably be the
No
same.
minor changes.
Was it in this mystical flyer? I have no idea. I haven't seen the flyer.
The mystical flyer.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, you wouldn't have to talk about it because it wouldn't be new. Well, I guess it
Yeah.
would be new because it
I
isn't
mean, the
announced
thing
yet.
is, even if it was a mystical flyer, it might be really small. There may have been some small, very subtle details to make the difference between me liking you and hating
like
it.
the back of it's not white.
Or like the repeated crest that I wish was something else.
Oh yeah,
It's
so
an
that,
OLED.
yeah, that crest
It's
on
an
that.
OLED. It's just an OLED with some stickers on it.
I can
Yeah,
get stickers. We
they're
talked about
just-
this last week.
They're,
We can
they're
get
just putting
stickers.
decals.
Yeah,
They're just
right.
sending decals.
It's
They're
not even an actual.
It's not even painted on.
Yeah, it's not even
Right,
actual,
it's
it's just
decal.
decals.
I'm hoping
Alright.
they announce a special Pro controller because I might get that instead and just buy like an OLED dock.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's not
Get,
bad. recently
get
for
to
that.
that last topic we got. We got a little Pokemon in the news this week. Scarlet and Violet. We haven't had the little Pokemon Presents back on the 25th, but they released an update. I think it was like 1.2 points. I don't know the exact update note. But since it happened, there seems to be a small selection of people that are just playing the game and randomly seem to be having their save files get deleted. Now, this ends up highlighting a couple of things. One of them being obviously that a bug like this, it doesn't seem to be easy to trigger. To note, it's not something people have been able to repeat. It seems very random. It does seem to have to do with trading and moving Pokemon between home and or Go and other things. Like it's very random, so it's
People
very
that play
hard
the
to read.
game a lot.
Yeah, it's people
Yeah.
who play it a lot, like religiously. And that's what sucks for them is they're the ones with the most time in it. So it highlights obviously that this is a really crappy bug to exist, and obviously horrible news for the game to come out with the other news it's had to combat this whole time with the performance. But besides that, because obviously you can say it's not that big of a deal, it doesn't happen to that many people.
I wonder
It
if
also
Cloud Space
highlights
can
the fact
recover it.
it also highlights the fact that still in 2023 we have Nintendo published games that do not support cloud saves.
Listen.
Because if you have cloud saves, this
That
wouldn't even be a
includes
problem.
Scarlet and Violet. I thought Scarlet and
People
Violet
have
did.
No, Scarlet and Violet do not support cloud saves. So literally, it makes no sense. It's a game you're going to sink hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours in. He's like, I'm going to go do it right now.
I'm just double checking my cloud saves. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah. When someone, I did the same thing when someone told me that. I was like, really? Because like I don't check my cloud saves. It just automatically happens for the most part. Sure enough, I did not have a cloud backup for myself.
This is actually a cool app, by the way.
Whatever this is, it's a bug type Pokemon that's on that game right now. Okay, it's a bug type. And people have to stop. People just have to stop. Try to catch that bug.
Here's the problem thing. It's a shiny that you said doesn't exist. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Is shiny missing though?
Stop trying to catch shinies, guys. That's the problem.
Nate,
I literally cannot
legendary bug.
Pokemon game here.
Yeah, you don't see it there, do you?
What
Right?
about Pokemon Snap? That's not even a Game Freak one. Come on.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah,
That's
I told
crazy.
you. I don't know what. And it's just an asinine decision. Like this cloud save thing's been around forever. There's no reason.
Pokemon Home though. That's
Pokemon Home.
safe.
Oh yeah, we'll back up Pokemon Home, even though everything in Home is stored online.
And I can tell you what's happening with
Pokemon
Pokemon Scarlet and
Snap,
Violet. It's evolving. Okay, the game itself. It's evolving. All right. It's not that it's buggy or it's crashy. It's just that the game itself, the actual game, it's evolving.
Yeah, it hit a new level with the new update. Now it's evolving.
Yeah.
It's evolving into something that will sometimes delete certain people's save files.
And then
Nintendo gives us a way for that not to matter, but then the game just doesn't use the feature. So
it's brutal. Like, especially with Pokemon, this is the type of thing that you really can't have happen. Like, everyone who plays Pokemon is, that's the type of game you pour hundreds of hours into. And then you even have stuff like with tournaments, like Pokemon, battle tournaments, like at LAN, like specific locations. If those, if you go to a tournament and you're expecting to have all the Pokemon at your disposal and then you boot up your Switch and it's not there, that's devastating for people who take that stuff seriously. It's like really,
I can't even fathom.
That's the type of thing where like if you fly out to a tournament, you're already, I don't know exactly how the revenue from Pokemon tournaments, if it's enough to warrant that or whatnot, but a lot of people who go to these things do it out of the passion they have for the game. And if you get to a tournament and you're like, that's a nightmare scenario right there. It does not get worse than that. And yeah, I hope. I mean, I'm sure this will be something. Nintendo, to their credit, when a bug like this, I can't really speak for Game Freak as much or the Pokemon Company, but when a bug like this does happen for a first party game like this, like I remember there was I don't remember if it was Splatoon 2 or there was one bug a while back, and I think the Switch's first year where a prominent online game had a similar scenario where all of your stuff would be completely gone, and this was before cloud saves were really prevalent on Switch Online. So it was a similar thing, and I remember there was a forced update within the month. So I think this is it's a huge deal, and if it doesn't get fixed, then it turns into a bigger deal. But I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt in that sense. But yeah, it's brutal, man. That you can't have that, especially in Pokemon.
I want to bring something up here because I was looking at the chat, and Doggy says cloud saves will get abused in Pokemon. I believe it could lead the way to duplication. And maybe that is the case, but let me ask, what's more important? Losing your save file because of a glitch or having people duplicate their Pokemon? Like what's a bigger deal?
And I'm going to say as someone as like I'm not big in the competitive scene or anything. Why do I care if someone duplicates a Pokemon?
Hey, look, I used to be competitive. I used to go to like Worlds. Like I was like a top 100 ranked trainer for a few years. And I still would not care if people
and people, by the way, people have been duplicating Pokemon forever.
Yeah,
and hacking Pokemon forever. So like that was without cloud save. So you know what? Why don't we just have them?
So like yes, team building's a part of the process. But I think ultimately when it comes to like competitive battling, it's about how you use the tools and how you play them. Team building, I mean, if there are people behind the scenes doing cheap ways, that sucks. But like it's not if I lose a tournament, I'm not gonna be mad because someone got really good Pokemon because they did it in an unethical way. I'm gonna be mad because I lost the chess match. So as an ex-competitive player, I don't really care about duplication. I do care about losing my save file because if I was focusing on team building, doing things the right way, spending hundreds of hours to do so, then to just lose it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, liken it to this, like a game where you don't worry about. Imagine that Tears of the Kingdom doesn't have backups, and all of a sudden you drop your Switch.
Great, I get to start over.
Like that's it. Yeah. Some people will say that. Oh, I get to play, but like, say you haven't been all the way through. You've got 400 hours sunk in. You're trying to 100% it, and all of a sudden you haven't even seen the end of the game. And what? I got to do that again.
Let me tell you a story. So it's about my first Pokemon game. My first Pokemon game was Pokemon Silver. My first Pokemon was a Cyndaquil. Hey, thank you for the beautiful ambient noise. Okay. But it was a level like 98 Typhlosion. I was like a little kid. And I woke up one day as the sun was rising and the sun was kind of like shining on my Game Boy, and I turned it on. It was a Game Boy colored Kiwi. And it said my file was corrupted. Oof. And then I realized my Typhlosion was dead. And I cried.
Murdered. Deceased.
I mean,
no cloud saves back then.
And that's the thing, and we look at this from our perspective. I'm older, my audience is older. But like, dude, my kids, they would just be devastated if they lost a save file to one of their games. Like, I'll give you an example. It's stupid. My son got banned on Roblox for a few days because he just
that doesn't surprise me at all.
Kids say stupid things. All right, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't want to out what my kid said. It was pretty stupid. Anyways, and so he got banned, right? And to him, it's the first time he experienced like everything I've been doing for all these years is just gone. And he didn't even want to play Roblox anymore. Like he made a new account. Even all my stuff's gone, Dad. I'm like, yeah, you're banned. All your stuff's gone. And he's, I don't want to play. So, it's devastating at all ages to like lose a bunch of progress like that. And we're in an age now where that shouldn't really happen if you're connected to the internet. It should be automatically backed up in some way. All of us, content creators, we know what it's like to like just lose footage before we're done with it. Like it's devastating at times. Like if you're working on a project and all your files are corrupt before you're done, which I mean, if you use Premiere, I guess you probably have experienced this before because I know I have. Like it sucks. You lose all this progress And then, you know, I've had it happen where like, oh, it's just my last 4 hours of editing I lost progress on, not the actual files. Oh, but then I go to fix it, and then the computer blue screens, and then I come back and the raw files are corrupted, and then I don't have them on the SD card anymore because I deleted them because I needed more room. So like, this is by the way, I've learned a lot since then. I don't delete any of my raw files off the SD card until I'm done with the video now. And it's uploaded and online. To be clear, it must be already released. And eventually I'm going to keep backups of everything, but it's just a situation that when it comes to games and a consumer product like this, like that's my own fault if things aren't backed up there, because I'm not doing it when there's availability to do it. We don't even get the choice. Like I thought Nintendo learned its lesson with Splatoon 2. Like, hey, they didn't do it with Splatoon 2, but we're going to do it with Splatoon 3. Cool, you did it. But we're still not doing it with Pokemon. We're still not doing it with every game. And I know that Nintendo doesn't get a say pretty much in Pokemon deciding to support it or not, but maybe they should. Maybe Nintendo needs to start flexing the fact that, hey, we partially own your ass. You're putting this feature in there.
So the thing is, I think Game Freak should have a right to make decisions about how their games should be governed, and I get the reasoning. You know, if it has to do with, you know, reducing cheating chances, because that's why it was for Animal Crossing too, right? Like there's certain that's why they do it. They don't do it because they can't. They can. They just struggle to be able to do it while
or focus on anti-cheat methods they could implement
while still having the cloud saves. Like that. Yeah. That's what I have the issue.
Like with. I think there's specific things, and this conversation came before the game came out, and there was people really heavily coming at me in the chat about the duplication and all this. I'm like, I understand what you're saying. My whole argument is, if they know about that and they want to focus on that, they could find a way to have cloud saves with anti-cheat, and then try to find ways to actually prevent this stuff from being easily doable. Are people going to work around it eventually? Sure. And guess what?
Many people
already worked around it with Scarlet and Violet. We already have hacked Pokemon, and we already have duplicates. Like it's already happening without cloud saves. People that want to do it are going to find a way to do it.
Yeah,
it's annoying.
I guess it just comes down who's being more hurt here: the people who are playing the game fair, or the people who aren't.
Yeah, like the people that are doing it, they're right. Like I'm not even a hardcore Pokemon player. I literally just browse different Discord communities and watch as people brag about doing it. Like people are going to do it anyways. So why hurt the legit people? You know, I understand that, it'll just make it easier. It doesn't matter. Like, how old is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and it's already happening? Like, they're going to figure it out. They're going to find a way around.
I always get upset when, you know, I still pay attention to it because, you know, who wouldn't? But I always get upset when a new Pokemon game is coming out and
who's that Pokemon? It's Eevee. You're wrong. It's Eevee.
It's obviously Bayleaf.
It's Evichu.
All right. I gotta bounce, unfortunately.
That's all right.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm sorry. I had a
you're
good
good.
time.
You actually went a little longer than I thought you would. So
yeah, I wish I could stay for the whole thing, but
no, you're all right.
Make sure to hit me up on Twitter. I'm down to come back anytime.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get you back on in the future.
That's awesome, Thomas.
Yeah, man. Guys, everyone go subscribe to his channel. We got a link down in the description. So make sure you go check him out. And then there were 4.
Yeah.
I mean, technically Pikachu's hanging out.
Right. I mean, I do have to say one thing though too. At least it was a game.
Can I say time out for a second? Did you purposely wait till all of our guests leave to talk?
No.
I was gonna say
no, I didn't.
It's been like 2 hours and he finally talked. Okay.
No.
God.
No.
Sorry, I don't know if you were nervous.
No.
I know they're attractive, but
yeah, right. Whew. No. I do have to say at least it's a game like Pokemon. And it's meaning that it's not one that has a whole bunch of microtransactions that nickel and dime you to death, and then all of a sudden you lost your whole entire thing, and
you just lost money. Hundreds of thousands of Pokemon that you've been.
I realize that, but you're not out actual money.
No, you're out time, which is money's replaceable. Time isn't.
You're also out time and money with a microtransaction.
Well, usually you spent money to skip time in microtransactions.
Yes and no. But I mean, I kind of get pissed off if all of a sudden my game that I, put some money into, all of a sudden I don't have all that back. It would suck. you'd hope that the company would do right, but how do you prove that this was you and them to give you your shit back?
Oh, they don't care.
I know they don't. That's
They
what I'm
really
saying.
don't care. They already got your money. Whatever. Spend it again.
That's what I'm saying. That would suck.
It sucks in general. Like
It does. No, I'm not excusing that this happening either.
I just hope that when we talked earlier about the next generation system, I kind of hope that when we get there,
Hey,
that
Pikachu,
this just
idea.
like it's almost mandated. Like Nintendo finds a way to mandate if you're on our platform, you do cloud saves. Like just that's it. Internal, external, we don't care. You're on our platform, you support cloud saves.
Nate, Pikachu has an idea. He wants a.
Brilliant.
Okay, what's Pikachu's idea? What do you got, buddy? What Pika are we doing now?
He says that you should give your best friend a hug. Wow. Bummed him out.
Technically, I could argue my bestest best friend is asleep upstairs right now. I just don't want to stand up. It's not that I don't love you, Eric. I just don't want to stand up.
Right.
We can touch hands. You guys just can't see in between. We're touching hands. Oh well. Okay. See, this is why I don't go do it. You guys didn't see it on camera. He's sitting there
Mike,
going like this.
Mike,
There's a reason I don't walk
it's
over
a
to hug
fist
that
bump,
man.
though. No hand holding.
I'm gonna
Other way.
other way.
Other way. Mike.
Other way.
Yeah. There we go.
Wait, you're on this side for me.
No.
Yeah.
Wait,
How
do we look on the
what way
live
is it?
stream?
What way is it live? I have no idea. It's a
Yeah.
little different what you guys see versus what's live.
No,
There you go.
I think the way I was seeing it looked right.
Hold on, I'll look at it
No,
live.
no,
I think the way that I see it is
Other
the
way,
way
Mike.
it actually is live. Yeah, okay.
Andres
the way,
was right.
Andres is
Mike
correct.
was, Mike has to go the other
Yeah,
direction.
so the way I see it, how it's actually live, but it doesn't appear the same for all the guys.
Other direction, Mike.
Let's do both there.
Second hit. Oh, that works. Donkey Kong.
Oh my gosh. So I don't know. You guys have any other thoughts on like this whole? I don't know. It's just a weird situation. I mean, no one wants this to happen.
it's
Like,
just
there's nothing good you can really say about it other than it's not affecting a lot of people.
These things
Outside-
happen.
But like, it still sucks.
It's a
things
shiny
happen.
missing no coming back.
Yeah. You get to play the game again.
It's a shiny.
And hopefully your some Pokemon are on Pokemon Home that can be recovered,
And by the way, just to add to that new segment I did earlier, during this very show, Metroid Fusion released.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this
Metroid
happened
Fusion.
during the show.
Mario Kart, like all right here tonight. Like out on Switch.
Nintendo dropping the goods.
Yeah.
So there's one little bonus tab I had in my back pocket in case we got to this point and we kind of zipped through everything because I was trying to go through the topics a little quicker, knowing that HMK and Thomas couldn't be here very long.
You gotta get through the topics like in the first hour, and that way you can cover.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem. It's usually not my fault. I'm trying to get to the topics within 15 minutes, but before we even get to what games I've been playing lately.
We've already got on for a half hour, 45 minutes.
We're 45 minutes in.
Yeah.
Because like I ask, hey, what have you guys been playing lately? And then we're on like a 25-minute tangent on something entirely unrelated. Like there's other stuff.
You're welcome.
Like it's not just you. It happens to everyone. So it's kind of like it gets to me, and I'm like, well, I did this and that, and I'm good. Let's move on. That being said, the one bonus topic I wanted to add in, I have no idea what Mike is doing, but was that whole Microsoft Activision thing had an update today that was really, really interesting about Call of Duty. Now, I want to make it clear, these are not directly Microsoft's words because this is a summary by the CMA, but they're just summarizing the arguments made. And Microsoft basically said Call of Duty, as it is today, the one that came out last year, and Warzone, can run on Switch right now. Like, just full stop, native, can run on Switch right now. We're not talking cloud, not talking anything. So like they were trying to say, you're dismissing, Switch as a competitive platform, but here's proof. And then they showed it running on the lowest spec PC that they could from basically the lowest spec that Call of Duty runs on, and just argued this is actually worse than Switch, and it runs on this. We can make it run on Switch right now if we want. Like if we just want to do it, it'll happen. And I pointed this out before that it actually does run on pretty low spec PCs. So it was always one of those, it was always possible. So the question just is at this point, do we care?
I mean, I want Call of Duty on Switch. It's gonna come. It just got cases, that court case thing, whatever. It's just got to end.
Mhm.
They don't really have a case.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah, I watched 2 different videos on it today, and mostly the conversation around it frustrates me more than the actual news. Like, people seem to be like, oh, well, if this is the case, then why hasn't it been here the whole time? Because Activision didn't want to do it. Like, Microsoft's the one that wants to do it. The Microsoft's the one that signed the contract, not Activision. Activision doesn't want to do it. Like, that's the answer. Activision does not want to do it. It was never, can they?
My
It was a
God, see in the
desire.
chat.
Right?
What happened to
Mike,
Mike
honestly, I
Odyssey?
do care. I do care. Well,
Mike,
Mike, we need you to come
Mike,
back
what
in.
happened?
No, he's back.
Where'd you
He's
go,
back. Hold on.
Mike?
Hold on, Mike. Oh, Mike just wanted to get out so he could swap spots. No, that's not happening. No, we're putting it back.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. So you do care. So what's up?
About what? What do I care? What are we talking
The
about?
Call of Duty thing.
What about Call of Duty?
I see.
I was
You don't even-
I accidentally unplugged my roadcaster with my foot.
Yeah,
Nice.
I've honestly been there, so I can't.
Well, I
Even, I can't even talk.
That is great.
I accidentally unplugged my computer in the middle of the podcast once.
I
So-
heard something about Call of Duty, like being able to work on Switch. Really?
Yes, Microsoft made arguments to the CMA that, hey, we have evidence right now that Call of Duty last year and Warzone can run on Switch because it runs on this hardware that's super old PC hardware, and it runs on that, and that hardware is worse than Switch. Ergo, we want this to run on Switch. It can run on Switch. There is nothing stopping us from putting it on Switch
I mean, that'd be awesome.
natively. And by the way, this ends the debates. They were never. This 10-year deal was never about cloud.
Yeah.
Straight up native is what they said. Nintendo doesn't release a new platform in the next few years. We don't care. We can put Call of Duty on it.
I agree. I think that's a big thing. It's like a big shut up. Sony and CMA, whatever. Country Music Awards. Is that what it's says?
Yeah, right.
No, I can't remember what it's called. It's actually like 5 names, but they just leave out 2 of them for some reason and just go.
But
CMA.
I think that's a big deal. That's a big deal because first thing, it does, give the Switch some credit. That we are in the conversation. Although, I don't know how some people can dismiss the Switch with 100 million accounts. What 100 million accounts is nothing. I mean,
and I look at it like this: like 10,000 Noodles keeps making this like Call of Duty on Nintendo feels weird, and then he said this comment here: the user base stops at who on Switch is playing Call of Duty. They own another console. Well, let me tell you something. When they actually did consistently release Call of Duty, it sold multiple millions of copies back on Wii.
Yeah,
we had several different Call of Duties, and they all sold in the millions. So you know who would buy it? How about a user base that actually is buying Doom Eternal and Zelda and Mario and literally buying, like, this is the most core audience Nintendo has had on a system probably since the N64 and earlier. Yeah, it would probably do pretty good. A portable mobile Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Steam Deck didn't exist most of this generation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it would have done well.
Yeah.
Now, would it have sold PlayStation numbers? No. No one's expected it to be like the best selling version, but a couple mil every time they release one. Oh, yeah. It's one of the biggest IPs in the world on one of the most popular platforms in the world. It's going to do good.
It'll be cool if they just for the heck of it, just to shut everybody up, just they drop one. They drop one on the Switch, not on the next. They drop a game on the Switch.
At this point, it's still Activision's call.
Yeah. It's Activision's call. And
if Microsoft had it, they could.
Yeah, the Microsoft's whole point is if we want it to happen, this isn't like
could
because CMA recapped something to kind of bring it full circle. This was like
it's the competition and markets
and
authority. No, it's competition and markets authority.
So
there we go.
They made an argument 2 weeks ago. The CMA did that Switch shouldn't count as a competitive platform when it comes to Call of Duty because the graphical differences it can't run it. They basically just repeated what Sony was arguing. And Microsoft, by the way, has been really firing back at Sony heavy. We're about to find out every single penny they have spent on exclusive games. It's about to get wild when that comes out because Sony, this is not going the way Sony thought it would. Let's just put it this way, guys. If you haven't kept up on all of this, it looks like Microsoft is going to get it done. Like their arguments have been very rock solid. Like they were ready for this the whole time. They knew it was going to happen, and they knew they had the facts on their side. Anyways, that being said, like the European Union apparently is already like literally it's just paperwork away from approving it. So, and that's one of the major territories. But yeah, it looks like all the major territories are starting to lean Microsoft because all of the arguments Sony make, is Sony's been the one making all these people give pause, seem to not really be holding weight. Oh, Switch can't come because of the graphical differences. It can't run it, and then Microsoft's like, actually, you want to go there?
Here's a potato.
wait a second. You want to go there? We actually already have proof of Call of Duty today running on worse hardware. You want to go there? You want to say Switch can't run it? No, I'm not saying Microsoft actually plans to put it on Switch. It probably might be for the next year, but that's not the point. The point is, if we want to do it, we can do it. That's what Microsoft was saying. Is like, this isn't a question of can it have it. Well, why hasn't it been? Because Activision chose not to do it.
It's not Microsoft. It's Activision.
It wasn't our choice. You want to talk anti-competitive? Then talk to Activision because they're the ones that made that decision, not us. And we offered you guys the same deals we offered Nintendo. Why won't you sign it? Why won't you sign it? Why won't? Oh, because it's going to be on Game Pass. What does that have to do with you? Why won't you sign it?
Right.
So like everything seems to be leaning Microsoft's way right now, and this is a starch turn from the beginning of all this process when it was just Sony repeating over and over again that Nintendo doesn't count. Nintendo doesn't because the biggest argument Microsoft had was that, well, Sony's usually the market leader. Nintendo has been the sales market leader for a number of years without Call of Duty. And that was one of their biggest sticking points is you don't need Call of Duty to be competitive.
What would be?
And Sony was like, yes, we do. This is anti-competitive. How? Yeah. We have your number one competitor isn't even us.
Yeah.
And they haven't had Call of Duty even one time.
Right.
This generation.
So right now, the CEO of Sony answered this question in Brussels. He said, in his words, and I quote, "I don't want a new Call of Duty deal. I just want to block your merger."
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it's about. That's why they won't sign the contract. Because they know if they sign the contract that it goes through. It's going through anyways.
Right.
And guess what's going to happen now that you didn't sign the damn deal?
You may or may not get it.
After the current deal expires in 2 years, Microsoft might just say bye-bye.
If you want to be
we're already locked in with Nintendo.
Be a little biatch.
We're locked in on PC. We're locked in on our system. You tried to play dirty, and now you ain't getting it. And I'm not saying they're going to do that because they got they might consider
a year.
They got to consider the gamers. They got to make their money back, right? They're spending almost $70 billion. So I can see how they maybe still do it, but I can guarantee you this: after that 2-year deal ends, which it might end, the deal might not matter once the sale goes through, anyways. Because it's a marketing deal. Let's just say I would not expect to see a PlayStation logo on any Call of Duty trailer, maybe ever again, after the crap Sony's been trying to pull to block this deal and just full out admitting right now, oh, it's not about us getting Call of Duty. We just don't want you to have it. That's not guys. That's not what a monopoly is about. It's not about you're mad and I don't want you to have something. That's not what makes it a monopoly. So basically, that statement is that a real statement? Did he actually say that, Mike?
Yep, that's
that's Sony basically admitting that we were full of shit the whole time.
Yeah, that's a quote. It's a quote from the CEO.
Oh my god, that is a horrendous quote. You can't. Is that Jim Ryan?
That's let's see here.
Or is that the Japanese CEO? Jim Ryan runs the gaming division.
It's CEO of Sony CSIE. What's that? SI Sony International Electronic or something? Answer.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, SIE.
Yeah. So that's
Sony Interactive Entertainment.
Yep. So
yeah, that would probably be Jim Ryan. He says a lot of dumb shit. He does, but he keeps his job because Sony keeps making lots of bank. But that is a really bad statement. That statement alone.
Charles says it was Jim.
Yeah, it's Jim Ryan. Yeah, that's done. It just the deal's done. Microsoft they just admitted we lost and we're pissed. This is really about us wanting to block it. This wasn't about anti-competitive.
What's strange is that it seems that in reply, Sony's statement that was released, they don't want to reply to any argument against any points made. So they don't want to really give you a real reason why they're opposing the merger. The only thing he said was that we don't care about Call of Duty. I just want to block your merger. That's it. That's it. That's basically
that's defeat. That's admitting defeat. They're defeating. They're pissed. And you know what? I bet you it started with Microsoft with the gotcha. oh, you're mad about exclusivity? Time to reveal all of yours. And he's like, shit, they went there. What did you think they were going to do?
Mhm.
What you were trying to argue Nintendo's not a competitor. You were trying to argue that if they get Call of Duty, they're a monopoly. Well, you have been the market leader for 25 years. Like, you were making dumbass arguments. Xbox has never been in first place. Ever. Not once. Since the OG Xbox has Xbox ever been in first place. It's always been back and forth Sony, Nintendo for the last 20 years. And it's been mostly Sony coming out consistently on top.
Wow.
Nintendo
Unless
did
you
come
count
in
handheld
third.
sales, of course.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you count handheld sales,
If you count handheld sales, then
lost.
Nintendo, by the way, Nintendo has never been like super far behind besides the N64, Wii U, and GameCube. Obviously, Wii and Switch have done really well, DS, et cetera, et cetera. So like they've had really good competitiveness in terms of, hey, we're really profitable and we make a lot of money in this market. Microsoft keeps losing money. Sony had a point with PlayStation 3. They were losing money.
I think
So
the only
did
time
Nintendo with
Nintendo was
Wii U.
actually lost to Sony in terms of just hardware sales, I guess, would be the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Because the Game Boy Advance sold like 48 million or something.
Yeah, even if you counted the PlayStation 1 and 2 combined in the sales period they were available for, outdid all of Nintendo's hardware combined.
So it was Jim Ryan. Jim Ryan who said it.
Yeah, that's Jim Ryan says some dumb things, but he's saying that because they lost, and he already knows it. Like it's over.
It also states here that Microsoft had until recently they went ahead and reoffered the same deal again.
Sure.
And they denied it. They rejected it.
Yeah, because that's not about that was Microsoft's whole thing. Hey, we're not, because Sony was trying to argue the whole time they're trying to monopolize. They're going to keep Call of Duty. They're going to rip it from us. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. Microsoft's like, we've been trying to offer you the same thing we offered. Well, Nintendo doesn't count.
Yeah.
Well, we just proved they do count. And they've literally been your number one competitor. I wonder if they would have like, so CMA, Nintendo doesn't count. You see this report in 2020? Who's the richest company in Japan? It ain't Sony.
Yeah.
Like it was such a dumb remark in the first place, but like this is defeat. And this is pouting like a baby in defeat.
Mm-hmm.
He just straight up admitted this had nothing to do with anti-competitive. This had nothing to do with monopolies. We just don't want them to have it.
That's crazy. That's insane.
Like that is, by the way, it's not as if we didn't know, but to actually publicly admit it. Right. That's really bad. Like you are just admitting we're a shady as hell company and we will do anything we can to make sure we stay on top no matter what.
Yeah, I don't doubt there are so many games that were even announced to come to the Switch, but Sony paid them under the table in order to delay those games for making it to the Switch. One of them is Genshin Impact, announced long time ago. It's on PlayStation.
I'm also gonna say, these were just murmurs before. If Sony really is super pissed about this, expect to hear by the end of the year that they're attempting to buy Take-Two.
Oh yeah.
Sony's got enough capital to pull off a Take-Two purchase. It's about $20 billion. And Take-Two gives them control of Grand Theft Auto.
That would be perfect. I would love that.
So, like,
it sounds like I'm joking. Let me clarify. Like I'm just saying. Like I'm just looking at it from like a competitive thing. Like, oh, this is I want this deal to go through because I want Microsoft to compete with Sony, and then I want Sony to turn around and do something too. Like maybe this is a terrible thing, but I kind of like the idea of these two monsters just devouring everything and just coming at each other.
Listen. Eventually, if Sony keeps on going how they're going, they're gonna be all by themselves. Microsoft and Nintendo are gonna grow closer and closer and closer until eventually we'll get a Breath of the Wild on Microsoft Game Pass.
By the way, when I said this, it was just a murmur, guys. I didn't say that there was like anything actually moving on it. It's just one of those that like Sony is going to respond. I don't know if it'll be this year, but Sony's going to, like, as soon as this deal is signed and done, and then even if it's not now, if reality sets in where they just keep refusing to sign that damn contract, we keep refusing, and Microsoft's just literally going to look at the legal system that approved of everything and be like, we tried.
You know,
now it's not on PlayStation anymore. We tried to give it to them. They don't want it. So we're done with them. What do you want us to do? It's not our problem. And then that's going to hit Sony hard, because if you actually look at their revenue books, Call of Duty makes up an actual percentage of their annual revenue. Like it's not like a 0.008. No, it's an actual physical because it is the primary audience because they've been on top for so long.
Yeah.
Most people play Call of Duty on PlayStation.
Yeah.
And now that Sony did this, they tried pulling all this crap. They keep refusing. Microsoft just looks like the good guy the whole time. Activision's just sitting back like, well, we were a piece of shits, but now we're about to be rich, so we're good. So, like, it's almost a situation where Sony is the only one coming out looking really bad. And I'm not happy that Sony looks bad. I wanted... I don't... This whole thing has been fueling console wars all over again. And obviously, as like Nintendo YouTubers, we're sort of like the bystanders. Like, we only got dragged into it because Microsoft's like, hey, we're going to give Nintendo Call of Duty. That's how we got dragged into the argument. And then that's when the whole, oh, Nintendo doesn't count thing. And that was just like, what are we talking about? And it just turns out these were just all of Sony's arguments. And now Sony admitting defeat. Like, I can't help but smile a little bit after Sony tried to say that we're not relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's almost like vindication. Well, even the government, when all the facts were presented, ended up going, okay, yeah, Nintendo's relevant. What are you talking about?
At least we got our first next gen leak out of this.
Hey, we're getting Call of Duty on the next generation system. Guaranteed.
I'm just hoping
If it releases in the next 10 years.
I'm hoping this mess gives us a Switch 2 name soon. Remember that Redacted?
But that's the thing. And that's one thing we got out of this as well. People always be like, oh, well, yeah, it can't run on Switch. Did you forget there was an entire document that said Switch and Redact? Like, the next platform's coming. Nintendo's already announced they're working on it. Yeah. And yeah, the deal wasn't just for Switch. It was for the next system. They actually had to say the system legally for the government to see. And they just had it redacted before the documents went public. So the government, someone at the government, does know what this next system is, at least what it's called.
So what I'm curious on, though, does it mean that the name is finalized, or is that just a prototype name?
It's either the final name or the thing is we don't know either one of them. But
right.
But usually Redacted is a reference to an actual name.
And I think the NX thing was
I know that's also indication it's coming sooner than
yeah.
So I think the NX thing was a marketing thing to kind of ease Nintendo fans that a new Switch was coming, a new console was coming. I think the name that was redacted is an actual name, and if it was redacted, but there was
because the code name wouldn't have meant anything. The code name would have been irrelevant.
What if it's not Switch then? What if it's not called Switch?
I mean,
but that's the thing.
Like, be Switch something.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, it's redacted because it's an unannounced piece of hardware. So, like, and
it would be redacted if it was Switch 2. It would be redacted if it was Electric Boogaloo. Like,
but yeah, but even if it's called Nintendo Switch 2 or new Nintendo, it doesn't really matter. It's a system not announced. So Nintendo requested that it be redacted. Of course, the government's like, well, yeah, we're not going to spoil an unannounced thing, but it was relevant to bring up because it's going to be occurring while this whole transition of Microsoft buying this company is happening. So it's like, we have to mention it because it's relevant to the future of this deal.
You know, something else though, it's redacted, but it could have been like, so it's like, I have it here actually. It's Nintendo Switch Online has been excluded from our shares that Nintendo's cloud gaming service is very limited. Nintendo's cloud gaming service is only available on the Nintendo Switch device, and it could have been their next generation system and not just a name. Like, so I mean, in theory, the redacted could be like another sentence.
Yeah.
So they may not have the whole name yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say phones
and mobile. Yeah, like that would be
TV or like TV or like
whatever it is something they haven't announced, right? Like that's all we know.
Miyamoto's couch.
But yeah,
Miyamoto's couch plays COD.
So I don't know. To me, this is a pretty big deal. And the story only got better as we went because it turns out that Jim Ryan basically just admitted they got their ass kicked. And they're pissed. And they just fully admitted what the whole thing was all about because they would have never admitted that in the actual, like, behind the closed doors meetings they were doing with all the officials. They would have never said we're just trying to block the deal. Because they would have been trying to make legit arguments on why this would have been a monopoly.
Yeah.
And apparently they don't even think it's a monopoly. They just didn't want it to happen. They didn't want to. They just wanted to hurt Microsoft. That's it. That's all it was.
You know how I feel about this? we were talking about the different like Nintendo presidents earlier. Like I was like, oh, Yamauchi, the last Nintendo Yakuza. This is the Sony execs. I wonder if there's like a lot of like just like business pride. You know what I mean?
Here's a relevant thing I want to bring up. I usually don't respond to this guy. Rizky says, I just disagree with the idea that Nintendo can compete with PlayStation. Lol. What was the number one selling platform the last 4 years?
5 years.
Well, what do you define as competition?
Like
what do you define as competition? They both make video games.
they both sell a lot of systems.
A lot of their games are the same. Like Octopath Traveler, there's a lot of RPGs. And Nintendo's literally making more money.
Yeah.
And selling more
operating.
More
to be clear, I want to make it clear. The Sony makes significantly more revenue. Nintendo makes more operating profit. So the actual profit after expenses favors Nintendo. Sony technically brings in a lot more revenue because of their digital service being so expensive and having a bigger base.
Consoles are more expensive too.
Yeah. So they have a lot of revenue, but it's not all profits. In fact, Sony's $125 billion in debt, but that's not all because of video games. A lot of that's because of like their old when they had to deal with the failure of their Vio line of stuff and some of their old products they've discontinued.
Well, I mean, if you're referring to specs though, because
sure, you could talk about power, but then if we're talking about that, we just say, well, just get a PC,
right?
Because none of these consoles compete with PC. Even the stuff that's in PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series, it's old news now. It's old news. It ain't as good as what PCs can do. That changed within like a month. So it's just one of those, people can say Mark is the market leader. Yet all the big games and third party aren't on Nintendo consoles. Well, I mean, all the big games.
I like the Switch.
Isn't arguably the biggest game in the world Minecraft?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Last I checked, that's on Switch.
And Fortnite.
And Fortnite's on Switch.
I mean, and Advance Wars 1 and 2 reboot.
Advance Wars 1 and 2. And even if you go, I mean, that's the thing, though. A lot of people that are big Sony fanboys will always be like, yeah, but we have Call of Duty. Well, you might not have Call of Duty much longer. And guess what? We have Call of Duty now, too, by the way. Yeah. By the way, in case you didn't hear, we're getting Call of Duty now.
And listen to this. And the most selling game in history, Super Mario Brothers. Mario, the most recognizable character in the world over Mickey Mouse, over any other character, over Ratchet and Clank or that little robot. Mario, it's on.
Yeah, but the counter to that in their favor is that Nintendo's been at it a lot longer. What I will say though,
well, I mean, at this point, the difference is becoming less and less significant.
Yeah, but here's the way I look at it. And by the way, I love PlayStation. There's a reason I got a PS5 back here. Like I play. It's fun.
I'm actually selling one after this conversation.
But what I find interesting is, look, I think Sony's doing incredible. I think their first party games are even if they're not first party, the games that they spend the money on have been growing and been doing bigger and bigger numbers. Spider-Man's been great. God of War is great. I love their games. They're awesome. But I always remind people, like, when you want to say Switch isn't relevant, God of War did incredible out the gate. Ring Fit Adventure has outsold it. Just look at the top 10 selling games on Switch and then look at top 10 selling on PlayStation 4. Switch is destroyed. Like the top selling game on PlayStation was like number 24 or something on Nintendo's list this generation. This isn't me saying Sony's not successful. They're just successful in a different way. They do a more expensive service, a more expensive yearly service. They obviously really lean on that service with the PlayStation Plus and adding quality games to it. Yeah, you're looking at the list. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, no. So I mean, this list I think is an all-time list, and I think the best-selling Sony game of all time is The Last of Us and The Last of Us Remastered together, combining for 24 million.
Yeah, like
so
it's
combining both to get to 24 million.
Yeah.
That is their best-selling game of all time.
Because this guy who said this also said earlier in the chat, I saw that more people know who Alloy is than Princess Zelda, and I'm like the combined sales of Horizon 1 and 2 don't even beat Breath of the Wild. So
Horizon Zero Dawn sold 10 million.
Yeah, I just said the combined sales of Zero Dawn, and this was sucks. I don't want to put down PlayStation, but it's just factually untrue. Just the last Zelda game alone outsold the entire Horizon franchise.
Now you want to say if more people know Alloy than Samus, that's a debate.
Yeah, that's not even a debate.
Yeah,
come on, that's not a debate.
It is. Metroid's been around since but it's like
the same. It's like the same fan base over and over and over again.
Yeah, and still,
let's just be real. Let's just be real. The first Horizon game sold 10 million,
and there's still a lot of people there who think Metroid's a man. So,
but they still. Well, okay. Well,
you know what? I'll give you one credit. Hold on.
What are we arguing
Smash
here?
Bros. Smash Bros. Helps a lot. That does help a lot.
Yeah.
We're just talking about recognition.
Yeah.
So if we were to do a poll,
well, we're on Nintendo show. We'd have to go someplace where we don't have a Nintendo fan base.
Well, you have to go somewhere totally neutral, so you can't really do it. You'd have to like go to a mall or something. I don't know, but and we're never gonna get this answer.
We're never gonna get a neutral. Yeah,
no,
it's hard to do.
So, but all I'm saying is, and I brought this up as an argument, right? So I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just simply, I'm going over it. Like, what is?
I will say this: Alloy isn't like Master Chief. He's been around a lot longer. So, like, I think a lot of people know who Master Chief is over Samus. I don't know about Alloy's a bit newer, so there is that whole sense that while newer, like among PlayStation fans, absolutely. Sure. I mean, obviously, the PlayStation fans should know their own games better.
Metroid does beat Horizon, right? Lifetime. Metroid does beat Horizon lifetime sales just because it's been around.
The first game, yeah, but if you add in the second, I don't think it has.
I like Alloy a little more than others.
Because Forbidden West sold really well too.
Don't finish that sentence, Mike. Don't you dare finish that sentence.
Finish it.
Samus is the most important female in gaming history. No, strike that from the record. Samus is the most important existence.
To me, the most important female in gaming history, is one
Samus.
Zelda, and then Peach.
Samus.
Everybody else is just
Samus.
Lara Croft, I throw in the mix.
No.
Samus.
To me, it's Zelda, Peach. Everybody else are just secondary characters.
I don't know. Cortana's pretty big because
Cortana?
Microsoft actually incorporated Cortana into their
Chat GPT female. I need to know.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna have to go ask it. What gender it is.
Yeah, I just want to point out that with Metroid, when the first Metroid game came out, people just thought it was just like this like a Halo guy, like a Doom guy, like this super powerful macho dude in a suit that was slaying aliens.
I will say there were thoughts it was like Mega Man back then.
There's all of that, but it was definitely like fitting like more of this macho kind of thing. And then you beat the game, you invest your time into this, and then
you find out it's a girl.
She removes his helmet, and you're like, oh, that was a woman. That's like a cool thing, right? That's not. That's just like, whoa, that's really cool. And that's I
don't know if it smacked people until like Metroid 2 or 3, because like the
problem is you have to beat the game to see it. But
you got to beat it, and the visuals weren't.
It's funny because at the end of the NES game, she's in a little bikini. Like you have.
Yeah, that was like they're trying to give away it's a girl. It's like a bikini or whatever. You're like, Nintendo. Where's this remaster? People want to see. We got Zero suit. We need bikini suit. We need Dead or Alive with Samus featuring Samus. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyways, I hope Metroid Prime 4 hits 10 million, so we can.
It probably will.
I don't think it. You guys are nuts.
But I'm more.
Wait. Hold on. Let me win this argument real quick.
Listen,
let me win this argument. You're not going to win an argument that Metroid Prime 4 is going to sell 10 million. It's not going to happen.
Hey, I am going to win this argument. Want to know why?
Listen.
Hear me out. Hold on. I said
let's bet on it. If you're that confident, let's bet on it.
No. I said I hope. I didn't say it will. I said
you said you're going to win the argument.
Well, yeah. You said I'm crazy for hoping.
You can hope whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's just an unrealistic hope. It's an unrealistic hope. Sure. I can hope I'm going to play Tears of the Kingdom tomorrow. It's unrealistic. It's not happening.
All right. Let me throw this at you. All right. Just to entertain
people dissing Lara Croft. Old school Tomb Raider was amazing.
Humor me for a moment, though. Think back to before Breath of the Wild, when the best-selling Zelda game was Twilight Princess, hovering around 7-ish million, right? Or was it 8 if you account for?
It was like 8 million, yeah.
Yeah, but around that area, right?
Yeah.
If we'll go back to Nate, then Andres from the future comes and says, "Oh, hello, Nate. I'm Andres from the future. You don't know me yet, but I'm here to tell you that Breath of the Wild will sell 30+ million. The next Zelda." You'll probably spit in my face.
I won't spit in your face.
No,
No, but you would tell me I'm an idiot.
No, I
No.
won't say you're an idiot. I would say that is some massive wishful thinking. It might
Right.
cross 10 million. Yeah, that would have been probably my
Sure.
response.
Sure. And so, but you understand my point, though. It can
Sure.
happen. It can happen.
Is Metroid Prime 4
Sometimes-
going to suddenly
sometimes-
change its entire genre to end up becoming mass appealed?
We don't
Yeah,
know.
is that what you want to happen? Do you want I agree. Metroid can do it if it changes its entire genre to hit mass appeal.
We need a movie. That's
Zelda
serious.
literally went open world RPG on us. It
Yeah.
kind of sort of
I
went
think
even
it's
further away from action adventure into open world
I-
RPG territory.
I think it can be. I think theoretically it could be a more of a subtle change, because I mean we've talked about it before. Like you look at like the Bioshock
subtle
series.
isn't what Zelda did. Subtle was a drastic.
Zelda
change.
reached out and slapped
Sure,
in the face
but
with the change.
but
There's a
difference
reason
is-
some Zelda fans say it's not a Zelda game.
Sure, but and I understand your point, and
Yeah.
I'm with you actually. Like I don't want them to change Metroid Prime
Yeah.
that.
I just don't think
much.
they're going to change it enough to
Yeah,
hit mass
and
appeal.
I
That's
don't
kinda my point.
I don't think they should.
I don't think they
Um,
need to, by the way.
right.
I think if they're happy just aiming for anywhere from 3 to 5 mil, that's good. I think that's
Well-
good. That's really good for Metroid. That's the best ever, actually.
If it hits 5, that'd be great. Yeah. I think 10 is not like honestly, just to end this little thing. I think
Well-
10 is like their ceiling.
I look at it like this. Metroid Prime is basically like a new game for most Switch owners. It's $40. Hit a mill. I don't think it's crossing 2.
We'll see.
Metroid is not even Dread showed it. Metroid is just not a franchise that has legs. All
We
its
will
sales
see.
come super quick.
We will see.
So
But we
Well,
don't know.
no,
We
I
don't
mean,
know.
well-
We don't know if Prime won't have legs. We don't know. But I understand your point, and I am concerned because I want Prime to beat Dread, and I am concerned.
Yeah, I think we'll know
So,
when
yeah.
their end of year fiscal report happens.
Yeah,
Because we'll have more than just like a couple weeks of data. We'll have literally all the way through March.
sure.
And then we'll know, like, hey, we got from Paul Gale said a mill, and that was the beginning of March. If all of a sudden it's at 2 million, then it's still another mill in March. That's legs. That's some big legs.
Yeah, if it doesn't show any,
If it doesn't
downward
show
dip-
much growth past a mill, if it's like 1.1,
listen, to give
Yeah.
Andre a little hope, I think that Metroid is a franchise on the rise. Once Nintendo takes the IP and brings it into the mainstream, they create some type of a feature animation movie or whatever.
you're so on that train every time.
I know.
Every time. I
that-
want it to happen, by the way. I just don't know that it's going to make a
But
difference, but I want it to happen.
it's gonna make a huge difference because it has so much potential. Trust me, a crazy potential. You have is it a heroin? I don't want to say heroin because that's drugs. Heroin?
It's the same.
It's
Right?
it's the same word, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's that literally, yeah.
I thought it was pronounced.
Yeah, we're talking about video games. You didn't have to bring up
Context.
drugs. I thought I was
Context is
already
fine.
baked Nate today. Come on.
Yeah. You
Here,
have
hold
a
on. Let me distract people back to weed.
you have a wait. Anyway, you have a really cool hero in here defeating aliens everywhere, a la Alien, right? Like Sigourney Weaver back in the day,
Sure.
you know. So,
Sure.
and then she has the coolest suit. She has the coolest weapons, and you have to make a show out of this, man. Like a sci-fi weekly show where she's traveling, defeating whatever, and then with a really crazy cliffhanger at the end of the season on Netflix or Hulu, and then just bring it out to the mass media. People love sci-fi.
Yeah, I will say if they hit the right audience with the show, you can hit on the whole sci-fi crowd.
Yeah, and
That's a pretty
and
big audience.
the entire sci-fi.
Metroid hasn't really been able to hit on that audience for some reason.
I think I think Metroid Prime 4 will hit 10 million.
Yeah, because even like Dead Space and some like Bioshock and stuff have been able to hit on that sci-fi crowd, but not
Yeah.
Metroid for some
Like
reason.
Amazon has a couple of shows that are like that are really, really good sci-fi shows. And I think Metroid could actually be a really good show. But they're really
I saw a comment on one of my videos earlier, and it's just one person, but it might actually be insightful to how people receive it. Someone said something along the lines of when they saw it announced as a remaster, the moment they saw it, they were immediately turned off. Like, oh, okay, I don't care for a remaster. So, and I'm excited for it. I think it's amazing, but a lot of people don't when they take a look at that first trailer, they don't necessarily realize what they're looking at. They don't necessarily realize just how good it is or how cool it looks. A lot of people. And you see how it's labeled as a remaster. That may actually limit its potential sales. But when Nintendo comes out with the Metroid Prime 4 that modernizes the gameplay in some way, I don't know if they'll Breath of the Wild it, to your point, but there will be probably some changes that make it feel more approachable.
If they can make it feel like Dead Space, I think it could. Dead Space ain't open world. Like,
I mean, actually, Prime Remaster is already more approachable. The dual stick controls are far better than what they used to be. And also,
well, I mean, that's just modern controls that they weren't using back then.
And it's still not as precise as like playing Call of Duty with the same control theme. Yeah. I think they need. I mean, going.
Yeah, I didn't agree with that take that Call of Duty controls better, but then I actually played it the other day, and like Metroid Prime feels really good compared to what Metroid Prime used to be, but it's still not like the controls still aren't, even in the remaster, aren't to the level that we see in other first person.
Yeah, because I play Call of Duty
kind of game. So.
I know it's not the same kind of game, and it's not like they redid all the animations and the code base, and I understand.
Yeah.
But and that's something they can do in Prime 4.
But they have hired a lot of the same kind of talent that works on Call of Duty.
And so Prime 4 could have that precision with the controls, the more precise controls.
So does Prime, Metroid Prime 2 and 3, do any of these games have voice acting?
They all have voice acting.
I mean, technically. Yes.
Prime, no, Prime 3 actually has like a lot of voice acting.
Yeah. Prime 3 is the most.
For the first like 2 hours is like a Halo game.
Wait, so the remastered has has voice acting too?
It does, but so a couple things on that. There's a PAL version that you have to set up in the settings, and there's a narrator that will narrate the opening of the game, and also when you go into a new area, when you load in, it'll say the name.
Accessibilities.
Huh?
Yeah.
Is it voice acting or is it an accessibility feature for blind people? For blind people to
or definitely,
there is actually a narrator, but you have to turn it on the settings.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't.
So Metroid Prime 3 Corruption has a pretty good amount of voice acting for the first like couple hours. It goes kind of dies off.
It's like a super big sci-fi movie in the beginning, or like a Halo game. That's how it feels in the beginning.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Prime 3 Corruption I think was the worst received of the three, I believe. I'd have to go double check.
Yeah, I mean, it was still. I don't remember like the Metacritic score.
I always felt weird that it couldn't sell well on Wii because it hit at the right time. It wasn't like a late.
Honestly, and the thing is, they made it more streamlined too. They made it easier. They took away the multiple beams.
But also, and this is the argument for Switch, is that Wii was sort of got popular off a different kind of audience. Switch is getting popular off like the kind of audience that plays more serious games. So, when we say serious, as Kirby's like, sells 5 million, but Kirby and the Forgotten Land was, again, that was a revolutionary game for Kirby.
Yeah.
So like that gave people the old school 3D Mario feeling. Like it was awesome.
All right, so I'm gonna speak on my personal experience on going into a game because of the massive change. I've known of Zelda since the beginning, since the NES, right? I play NES and all stuff, but it never truly got my attention until Breath of the Wild, until it literally just broke the mold and just became an entirely, completely new beast of a game. You know what I mean?
And I will be right back, but I'm going to listen on my phone, so keep talking.
Something like this, I think Metroid also needs, because if they've been following the same formula since the beginning, and they haven't been able to break past a certain ceiling, then I think they have to pull a Breath of the Wild. And I'm not saying open world game. I'm just saying drastic change. Do something that will literally kind of open an entire new fan base for this game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Keep something.
But I also think because we haven't had a legit Metroid Prime game since 2007, brand new one, we don't know how it's going to perform in this market. We don't know.
Yeah.
So it may just perform really well just by being modernized. But I do think they should go bigger. I think it should be a little bit more grand. I'm not saying it's going to be open world, but it's kind of like we've talked about before. You've talked about the movie. I've talked about if they go for a little bit more of a cinematic approach, they can bring in a lot of people. Being the most graphically impressive game on Switch or Switch 2, like that's going to make a difference.
Yeah,
we'll see.
And I can see how they keep the franchise in these modular compartments that she's in. Like it's like when you open the map, you just see the little
rooms.
It's because she's in space and it's all she's in another planet, so it's like basically, well, she has a suit too. So I would like to see her go get out of there and go into the actual world and I don't know, like travel across the land and break into a facility and do things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking too much of Call of Duty. That what I mean? That there's that freedom. That there's still that linear thing to it, but there's more freedom to it. So when you walk, it's not like you have to go linear and do this and go over here and then open this door and then try to find this to do that, and then it's more like more like I guess I'm very big into exploration. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean Metroid is all about exploration. Something interesting is Fearmancer asks in the chat. Says Fear asks, how would you feel if it did go open world, kind of like Halo Infinite went open world for the Halo series? Like I didn't play through the Halo Infinite campaign, but I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, is the Halo Infinite world even really that big? Like, did you guys play through
No,
it?
I didn't play it.
Well,
no.
From what I can see, like an open world that's like very dense, and it's kind of like designed in a way where you're limited by your abilities to explore it, but it's still open. But as you gain more powers and abilities, that opens up. Like there's an ability called the Screw Attack, which basically gives you the option to fly as like this crazy energy ball. Like that could be like an end game power up to the point where you're basically just flying throughout the entire open world, which would be super cool. But it would only be something you would have to eventually build up to throughout the game. So if they could construct a game like that, that would be cool. I can maybe see an open world if it's like very dense, contained, and very limited. It feels pretty much like a Metroid Prime game at first, but as you build up your powers, you can kind of go a little bit beyond just a typical room. I think that would be kind of cool, but I wouldn't want it to be like, oh, here's a giant field, and you run across it like in Breath of the Wild. Like I don't think that would make sense for Samus.
I just looked at the map. It does look pretty decent sized.
Yeah, and it's not so much a field like Breath of the Wild, because even like a game like Call of Duty doesn't really fit into like a Breath of the Wild type of field. It's more like facilities, like open facilities, like big giant, places like that. So,
I'm okay with just big rooms like that. That's fine.
Yeah, and even the opportunity for co-op, So if having Metroid and maybe have Metroid have other
that would be tough because Metroid is about isolation and co-op is anti-isolation.
Well, in a way,
that's
what I'm saying. Maybe Metroid needs to try to break the mold a little bit to at least to break that ceiling that they're trying to break. You know what I mean? Because the definition of insanity is doing this same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. If you want to break the ceiling, if you want to make that 10 million, if you want to become that big franchise, then you have to try new things, because the same formula is only going to go so far.
What do you think about this, Andres? If this may be something that's already happened. I speak of complete ignorance of Metroid in the games. But what would you think if they kind of went like a Contra feel and kind of brought in a second player type thing and made it kind of similar to Contra
in 3D? Because Contra's a side
It'd be interesting. I mean, not necessarily as Prime, like a spin-off game.
I mean, there is a spin-off game. There's Federation Force, which is a co-op game, which I actually think is cool. It's a Metroid Prime co-op game. It's cool, but it's a spin-off. It's not the main series, and it bombed because it was a chibi style Metroid when we wanted a real Metroid, and it was on a 3DS. And it was a whole other issue. I
mean, if you could find a way to make it work in a 3D space, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would work, but
Yeah, I love the fact that I love the Metroid treaty. I love it a lot, and I think that has so much potential. But they need to break down the walls. I think like they feel like they need to break down the walls and then create something new. It doesn't have to be the same exact thing we have see out there, but give it more of a feel that people would actually want to. People.
Yeah, I do agree that they gotta do. If they can think of something that's just like really cool that isn't really done before, that would
Even if
what is that?
Even if it's breaking that sensation of being isolated all by yourself, you know what I mean? Even if it breaks that,
That's the thing that is like so Metroid though. Like
that's what I'm saying. That's something that Metroid fans that are right now are so accustomed to.
So let me say this though, right? So when it came to Breath of the Wild, when they went for that change, they looked back to what Zelda was.
Mm-hmm.
It was about open adventure. So so Breath of the Wild in a way was going back to its roots. So they stuck to its roots, but they went at it with an open mind. So with Metroid Prime 4, I don't think they're going this direction based off what they've said, because they said they want to measure up to the quality of Metroid Prime. So I feel like what they're actually doing is trying to recreate Metroid Prime. Like that's what I think it's the direction they're going in. But if they were to go back to like the roots of Metroid, they would follow that formula and think back to what is Metroid Prime. Although I mean, if they look at Metroid Prime as like the foundation and not the original Metroid, then they would have to think about, okay, well, Metroid Prime it's a game about adventure and exploring, going deeper, shooting, puzzles, and then thinking about like how could they go about doing that in a different way. Maybe it isn't necessarily like corridors and hallways, but I do think the isolation, the atmosphere is a big part of what Metroid is. So, can you have a co-op game that's also is deep in atmosphere? Maybe, yeah, I'm sure you can. It doesn't seem like a Metroid game, that's very anti-Metroid. But
that's what I mean. Because there's already a definition of what Metroid has to be and needs to be. That's what it's always been. That's where it is now.
Sure. But all I'm saying is that there are other things that can be done. It doesn't have to be co-op. That's the answer, right? I don't know if co-op is the answer. I agree that it's maybe. And the other thing is that we're talking about them needing to do some sort of change to make it sell 10 plus million. Maybe Nintendo's okay with it not selling 10 plus million.
Hey, and maybe co-op could work, but not in the way that you think. Co-op could be a thing, as in you're both discovering that you're both researching the same facility, but you're going different paths. So
I'll throw this out at you, because we made a comparison earlier about how Metroid Prime is kind of like Dark Souls like.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Souls is a game that's very scary and dark and can be isolating, very much like Metroid. Also, the structure of the world, how it's like intertwined and you go back and forth and there's backtracking, and as you progress with power-ups and such, you go back. Like that's all very, very Metroid like. Dark Souls actually inspired by Metroid and Zelda. It's probably one of the reasons why I like it so much. But also like with the bonfires are basically save stations like in Metroid. Something that Dark Souls has that is kind of like co-op, but like not a traditional co-op, is there are the ghosts. Like maybe there could be other hunters, other people playing Metroid, and they can enter your world and either team up. Maybe if you're going to fight a giant boss, you could have another hunter beam in, help you out, or they could fight you. It could be a PvP, and you can opt out of that if you want. So, to your point, maybe there's an avenue where they could do something like that, add in some Dark Souls like elements. That could. I mean, if it's like Dark Souls, I think it would actually work really well.
Even in the same exact way they have it now. Imagine two fighters coming in, right? Let's say Metroid has a partner, but you're never with your partner. You're always discovering a different part of the area, but you have to work as a team and communicate to actually solve and to break down. You come together at the final boss and you battle together. You're always separate and working different types of different areas of the facility to solve puzzles together and to kind of get into rooms together and to You have to press this at the same time as this. Are you ready? Shoot at the same time. Shoot.
No,
The door opens.
not even that, Mike. You know,
That's Federation Force.
You're solving a puzzle to allow your partner to access further down a different hallway.
Yeah.
Like you're both coming up different hallways and you're solving puzzles as you go, but that allows your friend to progress.
Yeah. So it's like
You're together but not together.
it's a co-op, but it's not really co-op. It's just it keeps that same mental isolation thing because you're on your own. You're still fighting on your own. You're going down the same corridors, same room, but you're communicating with the other fighter, in the same area, trying to, and then you come together. You come together to fight the boss battle. Their ideas, but what I'm saying is that if Metroid stays like Metroid is, then Metroid fans are going to continue buying them. Yes, they're great games, but if it's highly unlikely that the franchise will just overnight increase, staying the same exact way that it is.
Sure.
And
I mean, you also can argue that they're already they're in that trajectory, right? Like you look at Metroid Dread, it sold almost 3 million. People might say, okay, that's good. It's a little bit better than the original than Metroid Prime, but that's also a 2D Metroid game. 2D games like that, Metroidvanias don't sell 3 million copies. That does not happen. The fact that Metroid a 2D game sold that much at $60, I think that says a lot. And they have done things with Metroid Dread to make it appeal more. Like it has really beautiful graphics. It has these epic boss fights with these really cool, almost like Shadow of the Colossus like moments. They have these cutscenes that are interactive. They switch between the perspectives.
More cinematic as well.
Very more cinematic. I think and that's for a 2D game, right?
Hopefully, Metroid Prime 4 has really good voice acting. Okay, that's key to get you into the story. Like maybe like some kind of voice or something. Even give Samus ever had a voice?
Yes.
So give her a voice in Metroid Prime 4. Do like a good story with it instead of just because I know when I
hopefully a better voice.
Yeah, when I started playing
the
Metroid
last one
Prime
wasn't great.
I like the game, but I don't like that. I just kind of.
Are you talking about Metroid Other M or Metroid Dread? Because Metroid Dread, it's amazing.
Well, obviously I'm talking about Other M. I thought we were still on like the whole 3D.
Well, I had just brought up Dread as you said.
Oh, did you? Oh, I missed that between swapping back over.
Yeah. Other M's like I don't know, like 2.5D.
There's two. Basically,
I like. By the way, guys, I actually like Other M. I know
I like Other M as well.
Some people really hate it.
I don't.
The only thing with the voice acting is just a little too monotone, but it's whatever. Some of that could have been on the script writing too. So
Other M has good gameplay, except for the moments where you have to switch to first person mode. That's awkward. It's cool you can do it, but it should have just been relegated to a button press.
Yeah. How they handled that was weird. It
wasn't
a
I really
bad
hate
idea.
the Where's Waldo moments where there was a part in the game where I was stuck for days because I could not see this little thing on screen, and you had to like hit it with the reticule. It was stupid. It was
remember that.
It was poorly set up. Kind of ruined the experience.
Well, it's kind of. Well, you know what though? It's funny because there's a puzzle that gets praised in Phantom Hourglass for being like very similar to you can't figure it out because you need to actually physically close your DS.
Oh, that one's cool.
Yeah, but see, everyone praises that, but you know how frustrating it was for some people that only found out by accident.
It's funny, like you close your DS in frustration.
Yeah, so pissed off they closed it. If you closed out of the game and then closed your DS, you would have never known. I only found out because I got pissed. I was on that puzzle for 2 hours trying to figure out how this works. I'm looking up online because the game just came out. There was no guides for it. I'm like, I never look up guides. What is going on? This is the stupid, and that's when the beginning of my fandom. Then I close my damn DS. I open it up later, and I'm like, you got to be kidding. This is the stupidest puzzle ever.
I think the problem with puzzles like that is that if there's no context at all,
there was no hint to it.
Yeah. The cool thing about the DS though is that there are different things you can do that kind of are a little bit more interactive. Like you can blow on it because it has a microphone.
Sure.
You have the touch screen.
But it also teaches you to do that. It teaches you to do that.
Yeah.
It didn't teach you to physically close your game to solve a puzzle. Like it literally, I don't know anyone that found that out without a guide outside of finding out by accident.
Yeah.
Like, how did you find out about it, Andres?
I think I probably just figured it out.
You think you figured out that you need to physically close your DS?
I think I just started experimenting.
Okay.
And eventually it worked. I don't really remember. Like I just remember that moment. Like so
because I'm wondering if you're just kind of like, I'm just.
It's possible I may have closed it in frustration. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And
then you just open it a minute later and you're like,
all
no,
I know is
I'm
that
not going to give up on
game.
this. You're like, I'm not going to give up on this. And you open it back up and you're like, huh.
Yeah. I actually completely forgot about that puzzle until you brought it up.
Yeah. That's one that reminded me a bit of the other M1 where it's like not super obvious in any sort of way. That's how you do it.
Yeah. Here we are talking about like C tier Zelda and Metroid titles.
I mean, I'd argue that it's F tier, but that's besides the point. I legitimately Phantom Hourglass is the only Zelda game I don't enjoy playing. I enjoy the CDI games more. That's how much I do not.
All right. So, which is the worst game, Phantom Hourglass or Other M?
Phantom Hourglass.
I'd rather, like, if you told me, I would rather play Other M. I'd play Other M and probably
I'd rather play Other M.
Yeah, but which is the worst game in its respective series? Like, if we were to rank, is Other M at the bottom of the Metroid series?
That's tough. A lot of
I don't love Metroid 1 and 2, like just because they haven't aged well.
Yeah, like the remakes and stuff were fine.
Oh yeah, like Zero Mission's amazing.
Yeah, but back
Simon's
then,
Return is amazing.
I would say I'm not a huge fan of Metroid 1. I'd probably put it ahead of the first Metroid. Like it was great back then, but like today, last time I tried replaying it, I was like, don't really have a desire to go much further in this game anymore. So I'd probably put Other M above that. Maybe ahead of the original Metro, but like my memory, I haven't played the original in so long, so I'm so tainted by the remakes and remasters.
Yeah,
of 2. But definitely had a 1. I don't think I'd put it ahead of any of the Prime games. I wasn't a big fan of 3.
I heard that. You got that ambient noise.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of 3, but I still think I'd probably put 3 ahead of Other M. I don't know. Like there's
you say 3 means Super Metroid.
Other M. Here's the problem. When Other M's clicking for me, this is amazing. Like there are just moments in that game that I'm like, yes.
Other M did some great things, like the grabs and throws. Like
yes.
Some of the cool ones you see in Dread
in that game are just like the whole 2.5. Oh, weird. I don't get. There are moments in that game that it just works and it's brilliant, and it makes me get more frustrated at the moments that it doesn't work. Because it's like you clearly know how to do this well. Do more of the thing you did well.
You know, Other M's almost in some ways like there's like elements of Other M that we see in Dread with like the camera perspective changes and the jumping on the bosses, like the cinematics behind it, the voice acting, even though the voice acting in Other M is doo-doo caca. But.
Yeah, I always wondered, like, there's a lot of criticism over the voice acting in Other M, but like last time I played it, the script wasn't very good. Like it wasn't a very well written game. So like I don't know. Maybe a different voice actor could have brought it to life or brought some punch to it, but there's only so much you could do if a script is bad.
Sure.
You know?
And I'll also say that with Phantom Hourglass, I was disappointed. That's the direction they went. Because the DS was like, hey, we can do like N64 level graphics on a handheld. Back then, that was really cool. So I was like, oh, okay, awesome. Make something like Ocarina of Majora's Mask. Nope, let's make a 2D Zelda that you draw on that has slight graphics, but not really.
But yeah, the funny thing is, I
still like the game.
The only thing that I ever thought was dumb about the game was that to move Link around, you have to use the stylus. Why can't I use the D-pad? Like it should just be optional. But I love Spirit Tracks. Spirit Tracks is one of my favorite Zelda games. So it's like
I gotta play
everything that Phantom Hourglass did wrong, I thought Spirit Tracks did right.
Oh, so the thing is, by the way, guys who are still watching, Wii U closing March 27th. Any games so like
just remind them every podcast, man. Because we'll
Spirit Tracks, Pikmin 1 and 2. I need to go back and make sure I have those on my Wii U so I can play them.
I think one of our segments on our podcast on the 29th is going to end up being farewell to Wii U. Because I mean it's basically over at that point, besides just retro collecting. That's it.
Yeah.
So we'll have to have a farewell. It's like official farewell. Because end of an era. I mean, to be fair, we should probably say goodbye to 3DS. It's not just Wii U going away.
The thing is, the Wii U, it has such an incredible virtual
and
console.
the 3DS was more successful, so people have probably more fond memories of 3DS.
Yeah, 3DS has a lot of great games. The thing is, you could just buy the cartridges. The value of the Wii U is you can download games that aren't for Wii U on it through the eShop.
Yeah, the eShop. Yeah.
Like I don't want my 3DS for the eShop games. I want a 3DS for all the games that came out that there are cartridges for.
Yeah, most of the games that matter were on cartridge. There's a few like Dylan's Rolling Western.
Yeah, Pushmo.
And a few games like that were really good.
I loved Pushmo.
Pushmo, yep, that's another good one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Miyamoto said that backwards compatibility is easier now than ever. So,
yep.
You know what's funny? I was thinking more about that quote as I was walking out because I was like, I know I kind of dissed Miyamoto. I'm not dissing him. I don't think he's that heavily involved in this stuff anymore. Then I started realizing the more I thought about it, when he's like, backwards compatibility is easier than ever. And I sat there, Miyamoto doesn't program. How would he even know? Like I'm sure he's probably speaking because he's involved. So people have told him, but I'm like, this isn't firsthand knowledge he's talking from because he doesn't program. The compatibility is about programming and he doesn't do that. He's a creative. Like I always kept thinking, I'm like, I don't even know if he's like an authority figure to be on this topic to even say anything like that. It's weird.
Hey,
it'd be different if Sakurai came out and said something.
As with my dad, Miyamoto. Okay.
No, that's the thing. I hate this, but like he actually isn't a programmer, so I don't know how he would even know. You know what I mean? Besides people telling him, like the devs are telling him it's easy, cool. But here's the thing. I also think he could say that because one thing he is a bridge on. He knows what the next system is. He knows what's happening in the future. So like he like this is all. Oh, we're debating on backwards compatibility. He's MVG, which he'll never watch that video. But if say that news hit his ear in Japan, he'd just be laughing. He already knows what's going on. It's easier than ever. Like, guys, we've had backwards compatibility on Nintendo devices forever. That's all. You just gotta go to the. Why are people talking about backwards compatibility? We always have backwards compatibility unless we change the format. So what are we talking about? We're not going away from cartridges. Well, I guess they don't know that yet. When are we announcing this thing for Akawa? What's going on? People need to know.
I'm tired.
Perfect. How many of those buttons do you have set up over there?
I just set it up.
You just set it up. Nice. I got to get some of those set up.
That's a good one.
There's a lot of clips you can get from like that one GameStop phone call where he just babbles on for like 4 minutes. There's a lot of really like listening to the whole thing is really grating, but there's some clips in it that are a gold mine. I gotta clip some of that out. Every time someone talks shit about GameStop, thanks for pre-ordering at GameStop.
God. Oh, Lord.
Hey, Mario wants you to pre-order there. What are you doing?
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's great. I'm going to have to go download that clip. I think I do have it downloaded somewhere because I was always afraid it might get taken down one day.
By the way, I started a new series on the channel, and channel shorts is Mario and Luigi. It's Luigi telling Mario jokes. So,
I actually saw
I saw that. I saw one of the
shorts.
Here's the funny thing. The short popped up naturally while I was just looking through shorts.
Really? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
So I was like, whoa, is this new? I don't remember this skit from Mike.
Yeah.
So maybe are shorts starting to do things again? Maybe I should start making them more again. I kind of stopped.
I noticed I didn't upload shorts for a while. I uploaded one, it crashed, but then I loved the second one. The second one did better than the first one. So maybe as you continue to gradually upload, it'll increase your views like over time.
I think the algorithm got all messed up when they launched the monetization, and I was just kind of waiting for all of that to settle. I always figured it would settle and we'd be able to get views again. I'll have to try it out. I don't know. They're not that hard to make.
Yeah,
I can throw out a couple of shorts next week and see what happens.
The multiverse from now on. I'm not gonna do no more. Did you know that this?
Not me. I'm going right back to. Did you know? Go ahead and mock me, Mike.
The multiverse of Mike's is gonna make its return in short form. I got a whole bunch of characters.
Oh, there we have someone. Hey, by the way, remember the Wii U topic earlier? We have this guy right here in the chat saying it happened to him.
Ooh, boy.
Kevin Titus, my Wii U bricked with the NAND issue when we turned it back on a few weeks ago. See, it's
I
even
will
reaching
say-
channels like me. It's like people here are seeing that happen.
The Wi-Fi card on my Wii was dying. It was I had to download Twilight Princess HD because I couldn't find a disc. It was very challenging to download, and also download an update to let me download the game. Yeah.
Because someone told me, is this a compliment?
We gotta make it clear.
I just got compared to American Pickers.
No idea.
I don't watch that show. Is that an insult or a compliment?
No,
I'm not sure.
It's a good show.
It's
Well,
fun.
see, there you go. So you can rely on Eric. It's not gaming related. Of course, he's seen it.
No.
So
Sure. I mean, why not?
Resident Alien, not related to video games. I know about it though.
Yep.
just to make it clear, the Wii
You're
U
welcome, by the way.
is closing.
What did I do?
Resident Alien.
Oh, yeah, that's a good show.
So the Wii U eShop is closing for anything that has to do with you buying a game. So if you purchase a digital game, you still have access to download the game until Nintendo.
Until Nintendo completely shuts down the servers. Yeah.
Yeah. So but
It's still
yeah,
farewell. You can't buy games anymore on it.
yeah. But I went to the library. I couldn't find anything else I wanted to buy. I literally tried, and I got the Zelda game, the Zelda games. I got Metroid, but Metroid was already released there. But I got the trilogy though, and I just couldn't find anything else. Breath of the Wild, I'd rather play it on my Switch.
And you know what I feel bad for? The people that got rid of their Wiis to get a Wii U, so they could, because Wii's play. But guess what? The memory issue affects that too.
Yeah, and then Super Mario 3D.
But thankfully, there was over 100 million Wii sold, so you could find a used Wii. You could find a used Wii somewhere.
I mean, cheap right now. I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I should say this, but Mercari guys, they're selling on eBay a Wii with like 100 games on it. You know what I mean? Like, people are just selling Wiis like crazy everywhere.
Yeah, there were many of them. Like,
For like
they're going to be on a long time. A lot of them have been refurbished, and
yeah.
just don't go to DKO if you haven't heard.
Yeah, don't do that. No.
Don't you see their shorts and you think they're good? Just type DKO into YouTube, and then you'll quickly see how they're not.
Yeah,
what they look like.
Go to Mercari. This is a good place to buy stuff. Mercari.
Never heard of that place.
Yeah, Mercari is better. It's better than eBay to sell to. eBay is a bunch of scammers now.
eBay is a bunch of scammers.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of.
I've never had a problem on eBay selling stuff. I usually try local.
eBay is like Craigslist online. Okay, eBay is like Craigslist online now. Mercari is where it's at now. Mercari.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. Mercari.
Use code Odyssey, by the way.
Mercari. Are you sponsored by them?
No.
Mercari. How do you spell that?
MER Mercari. You should see it come pop up.
I got it.
Yeah.
I think I spelled it with a K the first time. I see it. It's more of an app than no, it's kind of an online.
Yeah, it's super easy to sell stuff there, man. So super easy.
I love the first thing I see is a Razer laptop. That's like it's 46% off from $12.50. I'm like, okay, I can already tell in the pictures it's used. So no, it is not worth $12.50. That's what you paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a 3-year-old laptop. So this is only probably worth like $300 today.
Yeah, but just
that's the unfortunate truth. So they're probably even overcharging for it.
Just have Nintendo Wii. That's it.
But it probably is a real product, and if I give them money, it'll be here. It's a big deal. They gotta. This is the exact laptop I have, spec wise. Actually,
the same one you have.
The exact same. It would explain why I struggle editing videos when I'm running on a $300 laptop today. Well, I'm going to type in it. Yeah, my laptop is worth $220 today, so that would explain why I struggle.
That's pretty good. You sell it.
I'm using basically a Chromebook, guys. Come on, give me a break over here. The fact I can still live stream is a miracle. All right, I think that's probably gonna do it for the show this week. Unless you guys have anything else you wanted to bring up.
Well, Metroid needs to change.
I'm tired.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. It's getting late. I mean, I might go into bed for a little bit, but that's okay.
I'm tired.
I'm tired.
Yeah, right.
You say that wrong. It sounds like you're retired.
Okay, well,
it's okay. I thought I was the one that sounded like it more when I did it.
I'm tired.
Thank you guys for tuning in to the Nintendo Prime podcast. Before we go, I'll just restart. You got anything coming up, and where can people find you?
Yeah. I make Nintendo videos. My name is Andres Restart. There's several things I got planned for the week. So I got something Pikmin brewing. Hopefully, it comes out relatively soon. I am planning multiple Zelda Theory videos.
What time to see some Pikmin video that isn't just Arlo?
And I may be talking about Mario Kart tomorrow.
Got a feeling that's happening. Got a feeling Mario Kart might be getting turned on when this ends.
Come on.
Maybe. Well,
I know
we'll
it's probably
see.
going to get turned on for me before I go to sleep tonight.
Probably a little bit, but
I'll probably gonna because I haven't done the tracks yet. I'll probably go through each track at least once tonight.
Yeah, it won't take long. I'll take you like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
if even.
That'll be whatever. And you guys can find Andres Restart. We got a link down in the description. If you're listening to the audio version, there isn't a link except to the video version that has a link to his channel. It's just the way it goes. The audio version is really weird with links because all the different platforms handle them differently. So we only put one in there. But you can also, if you just want to look it up, you don't want to click on any links, just type Andres Restart into Google. It'll literally be the first result. Or go on YouTube, type it in. You'll see it there. ANDRES Restart. All right. Mike.
Come on.
What do you got going on? And where do people find you? I mean, something going on next week. I don't know if you told anyone.
Come on, son. What? Who?
Come on, son.
Anyway, I was watching. I love Psych, the show. Psych.
Yes, Psych is amazing. One of the greatest shows ever made.
So, hello, it's on Peacock.
Oh yeah.
So have you seen Resident Alien? Please say.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
My show.
Oh,
I watch him on repeat.
yes.
So,
Resident Alien and Psych, man. I love those shows.
Every show you can actually watch it again, and this is funny. But anyway,
those shows are like that. It's like House for me. Like I can watch House over and over and over again. Same with Psych. Same with Resident Alien. They just never get old.
Yeah. So I got Monday through Friday Nintendo Odyssey news. I'm going back to products. I have a couple products that people are sending me so that I can on a channel. We already did the controller, the GameCube controller. That GameCube controller that's been trending.
The GameCube Joy-Con things.
Yeah, I already have it there. It's pretty good, pretty okay. What else? Oh yeah, shorts are coming back, but in the Odyssey multiverse form. So expect that. Breaking news segments are gonna come back, but in that breaking news form in shorts also. So all multiverse stuff is gonna be on the shorts, like all the
wood mics and
all the parody stuff is gonna be there. So
comedy, all the comedy in the shorts.
Listen, I had somebody like on one of the parody videos, I had somebody comment. Because I said, the direct is happening next week, and I am 100% sure that there's a 50% chance that it's happening. and the guy in the wait, are you 100% sure? Or are you 50%? Like it's a parody, right? It's a parody.
It'd be like people taking that Sex Panther cologne serious. 60% of the time it works every time.
Exactly. Right. That's where I get. That's where I got it. That's where I got it. But I got that on Saturday. I have a live stream going on to celebrate Mario Day because it is Mario Day on Saturday. We're having a Mario Kart tournament. Mario Kart tournament. I forgot.
Is it Mario Day Friday?
Mario Day's Friday.
Is it Friday? Oh yeah, it's Friday. Sorry, not Saturday. Friday. Yeah, Friday.
Sorry, that's why I was like, wait a second. I thought the 10th was Friday, but I'm like, you know what? If I'm another day closer to PAX, I guess I'll take it. I'm tired. That was a perfect time.
Anyway, so Friday we're having a live stream. Oh wait, I'm streaming every Friday now. So I started streaming every Friday. I've been streaming for 2 Fridays in a row. So every Friday you can catch me on the Odyssey.
Catch a little mic.
Yep. Eventually that'll turn into the podcast day, which will also.
There we go. I didn't know if you were announcing that. There you go.
Yeah. So that eventually that'll turn into podcast. I've already invited Nate over, Andre. I'm inviting Eric over if you want to come over as well. We're gonna have that way we can do this thing right. Mondays you get a podcast at Andres Restart, which is sleeping right now. Wednesdays you get the NP podcast here at Nintendo Prime, and then Fridays you get the Nintendo podcast, which is cool. The entire
what we say if you haven't gotten all the major Nintendo topics out by the end of Friday, but you're missing a podcast. You better subscribe to all 3 channels.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a different show. Yeah, we're gonna have a little news, but it's gonna be a different show. We're gonna have like games and trivia and a whole bunch of
stuff. Whatever you say, man. If I'm there, just slap me in the face and ask me a question.
But yeah, that's like basically, and
Need a button.
Eric will do it for you.
Yeah.
He'll just be like, hold on.
And on Friday, there's a potential, and can I say this here, right, Nate? What we spoke about behind the scenes today earlier.
I don't even know. Did we talk today?
Yeah, on Twitter, the fundraiser thingy.
Oh, yeah. You can talk about that. That's all on you, buddy. Yeah.
All right. So this is what happened, guys. You guys know that my father-in-law. Some of you have my father-in-law has cancer. It's turned terminal already. There's nothing they can do for him anymore. He stopped treatment. My wife is completely devastated. Our family is upside down right now because my father-in-law is we already know he's dying. It fell upon us, myself and my wife, to take care of our final arrangements, which is like the most, like the worst dream ever is to go to a casket place and just try to pick one. That's like the worst thing ever, because nobody wants to imagine your loved one inside of it, and then go over to the cemetery, all this stuff. So that fell on our shoulders, and that was so unexpected that it really, really broke us, and it took a big dive into our finances. So it cut into my funds for the trip for PAX. So I was planning, hopefully, if it's okay, I was doing to turn Friday, the stream, into some sort of a fundraiser, in order to just get a few funds to help out with the PAX trip, so that we can continue, so that I can be able to go hang out with the guys do the podcast, give you guys some good content over PAX, and then move on. Yeah, but that's what I was gonna do, and I wanted to talk to this community, of course, because half of the community here is also on our channel, and then of course talk to my community to see if it's okay with them as well. If we can do that as well, do like a fundraiser there on Friday during the stream. So yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, guys, be sure to go watch his stream.
Yep.
I'm going to be watching his stream and probably be sending some money myself because one, I want my buddy there. I mean, come on, we have this whole thing. We're even at the same hotel. Like, come on, we're gonna make this happen. And obviously, this is a situation that they knew about, but you never know when the time's going to come and when you're going to have to pony up, and it's not something anyone wants to deal with. So it's kind of unfortunate, but
because we know there was a cancer and it was pretty bad, and but now now that we know it's like he stopped eating and drinking water and stuff like that, that's just the end. We're just waiting,
Right.
So let's help take his mind off and get this boy to PAX.
Yeah,
have some fun.
No super chats or
the super chats won't help.
Yeah,
they don't arrive in time.
Yeah, go to the link in the description on my videos and then look for the PayPal link there. That way you can whatever you want to donate, you can.
On your stream, are you gonna have like a meter like that goes up for every donation?
I probably will. I don't know how to do that, but if you want me to do that, I can do that.
Okay. Yeah. I can show you. There's a way through. Yeah, there's a. I'll show you. There's a way to do it.
Yeah. So that's it, guys.
And it'll go to your PayPal.
So that's what's happening on the channel. Just keep on, pushing and creating content, and yeah, man.
All right. Well, that's good.
Kill it.
Obviously, go subscribe to those guys. They make excellent content. I say this maybe not as often as I should, but I say it a lot on Twitter. I think these guys make better content than I do. So you guys are crazy to be subscribed to me and not them. So what are you doing? Go subscribe to them right now. Seriously. I want to see both of these damn channels over 50K by the end of the year. Period.
Yeah, that's actually the goal for this year for me.
Like, period. They should be over 50K with an average of 15 to 20,000 views a video. Done.
Let me ask you this a question. I've been thinking about doing like a subscriber campaign, but not a giveaway. But actually, if we hit a subscriber goal, I will do something that people want to see me do.
Yeah.
What would that thing be, though? That's what I have to figure out.
What do you really want me to do?
I was going to say dress and drag and do the hula, but
yeah, don't ask people because they're going to say, open an OnlyFans.
Yeah. I mean,
Markiplier did it.
Markiplier did do it.
I am a classy gentleman.
You're saying Markiplier's not?
The only feet pics that you're going to be seeing are Charmanders.
You probably could do that on OnlyFans.
I threatened to do that once. No one was interested.
Oh, you'd be surprised. There are some
Advertise it enough, you might get a new crowd. You might get a new crowd.
Yeah, I have a family-oriented channel and still get those requests. So,
oh boy, dude, because I don't wear shoes in my office a lot, when I have to like walk away during a live stream, sometimes they'll catch a sneak peek of my feet right down at the door, and they're like, "Oh, I saw Nate's feet." I'm like, "Okay, and are you excited?"
And
like, if you really want to see my feet that bad, look,
No.
you can send a super chat of $250, and I will lift my foot so you can look at it on the camera for 2 seconds. So you get 2 seconds. That's all you get. You'll never see it again. It's a one-time offer.
yeah.
Would you just
like,
share
I
yourself?
don't
If all of a
wanna
sudden
see-
250 comes
All of a
up
sudden it
right
just
now.
happens, and I was like, guys,
Wait,
Mike
what?
needs the money.
Yeah, right.
Now I got to turn around and give it to Mike. Come on. Oh, that's great. All right, guys. I don't really have anything crazy upcoming. The one video I was working on, I just dropped it today because there wasn't any like super crazy news. At least at the time that I was making a video, there wasn't. Of course, then there was news later. It's whatever. Maybe we'll talk about that news tomorrow. I don't really have anything massive planned outside of this podcast. Next week we got Sumbro. Wait, no, not next week. Sorry, next week is Jake Randall. Sorry, Jake Randall's coming on next week.
Nice.
So nice to have him. I think is this the first time he's been on the new podcast?
The new season 2, yeah.
Yeah, I think so because he took a break from YouTube for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy that he's back doing content, and he's already roasting me like all the time on Twitter right now. Ever since I announced that he's coming on, it's just a roast. Just get ready. If you've ever wanted to see Nate get destroyed in a podcast, it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Andres acts like he does it every time we talk Metroid, but when it comes to just any conversation, he will find a way to roast me. So that's always good fun. After that, we'll be having our live show at PAX. I'm just gonna say it now. We're all gonna be there. Mike's not missing it. We're gonna make it happen. So we're gonna have our live show at PAX, and then we have Sumbro Nation coming on the week after that. And I'm happy to announce, because I was given permission to, that Kid and Krista will be coming back on the show next month.
Awesome.
So we have another episode coming up with them. And right now, the last time we had them on was our #1 most viewed podcast in season 2.
Will it be same time, or will it be like
I think so, but I don't know for sure. It's obviously on their schedule because they just have a busier schedule than me. So.
I'm out of work, so I can.
Yeah. That's the thing. I'm trying to get. We're already talking now to lock in the date, and it's only the beginning of March. So that way, like, we have plenty of time if all of us want to make it and stuff like that. And if not, plenty of time for me to find other people to make it in. But because obviously having Kit and Krista on, that gets at the 6. That's the 6-pack. So
yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I'm talking to him right now. Literally, all I did was reach out and say, "Hey, you guys wouldn't want to come on again, would you?" And they're like, yeah. The reaction last time was amazing. We gained a bunch of subscribers. Your community's awesome.
Nice.
I'm like,
Heck
sweet.
yeah.
All right, come on over. It's nice when people have a good time on this. You know what? We haven't had a single person come on in the new show that hasn't wanted to come back.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. That means that we're doing something right with the podcast.
Right.
They might criticize my content, but they love the podcast.
Chemistry.
All right. So
I got an announcement. I got absolutely nothing going on like normal. So there you go.
You couldn't just let me sign off and let them go to sleep?
Nope.
Damn. They're over there I'm tired, just over and over and over again. Mike's been warning us for like 40 minutes now. He's wanted to sleep.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. All right, guys. Be sure to check out Mike's stream later this week. I have a live stream tomorrow. Go watch Andre's video tomorrow as well. Mike's video tomorrow. I have no idea what they're making videos on, but go watch them because they're probably better than mine.
Will not have my feet.
And then maybe hit like the back button and then come back to my channel for a brief moment to see whatever video I drop because I have no clue what it's gonna be.
His feet.
All right, that's a foot pick. All right.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I just appreciate everyone. Like every time these podcasts happen and I see 100 plus, 200 plus, 300 plus people watching, it's crazy. You guys are awesome. Love y'all. Catch you next week.
Have a good one.
Peace.
Peace.